driven deep to right center field. See ya! They've done it again!
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
The gentle sway of the palm trees, the warmth of the sun. Two things we haven't been able to talk about much during spring training games so far in an unusually cold Florida spring. But today that changes as we get set to play ball on Yes. We're glad you're with us at George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa as the Yankees get set to take on the Detroit Tigers. Spring training baseball here on Yes. Great to have you with us. Bob Lorenz along with John Flaherty. Sunny and 72 today. You know what else is? The pitching matchup. It's a great one. Let's take a look at the Verizon Fios pitching matchup. It is the ace for the Yankees, the big lefty, CC Sabathia, going up against a guy who has ace-like stuff at a tender young age, Rick Porcello, the New Jersey native. Let's talk about CC. Last outing, the numbers flash weren't that great, but he said he felt great, which kind of makes it sound like it doesn't make sense, but you make sense of it.
You know what, CC Sabathia had one of those outings where he found something mechanically, and the results were there. He's very happy with his performance. You see the numbers, 4 in the third, 3 hits. He did give up 3 runs, but when he came out of that outing, he said, I figured something out mechanically, and he's looking forward to today's start. Probably 5 innings, 80 pitches for CC Sabathia today.
All right, one of the other stars we're going to see following CC Sabathia, Mariano Rivera. Haven't seen much of him this spring, just once. So a second spring appearance, and for a guy like Mo, do the actual results at this point matter that much?
I think the one thing for Joe Girardi and Dave Island, the pitching coach at this point in spring training for Mariano Rivera, you just want to make sure the ball's coming out of his hand the right way. You want to make sure that he's healthy. These are highlights from last year. You always know he has that good cutter, but if you're the pitching coach and the manager, you just want to see the ball coming out clean, and you want to make sure he's healthy. Save number 500 right here for Mariano Rivera, and then the perfect way to finish up the season if you're the Yankees, seeing your closer out on the mound for another World Championship, ground ball to Robinson Cano to Mark Teixeira, and another World Series title for the New York Yankees and Mariano Rivera.
And the numbers that matter for Mo are the regular season and the postseason. 526 career saves, second all time, and of course what he does in the postseason is simply magic. He did it again last season, leading the Yankees to their 27th World Championship. We are getting ready to go. Baseball here. CC Sabathia, the big lefty, looking to make strides. And when you're 6'7", that's a mighty big stride. First pitch from CC. Lineups coming up after this.
Why design a vehicle with 88 vibration control measures? Why engineer 20 available systems that sense and respond to your needs before you're even aware of them? Because the average driver spends over 40,000 hours of their lifetime driving. The 2010 Lexus ES, uniquely designed to make every hour feel just as remarkable as the first. Lease the 2010 ES 350 for $479 a month for 36 months, with $1179 due at signing.
Millionaire Theater presents...
As soon as our sister returns with the newt's toes, our love potion will be complete.
Your plot to cast a spell on me won't work. I'll never fall in love and marry one of you, sisters.
Sisters? I just won $1 million, and I spent it all on cosmetic surgery.
Hoochie mama, look at those ankles.
Become a March millionaire. Play $1 Million Match or one of many New York Lottery instant games offering $1 million or more.
For 500 years, Koreans have been practicing a unique heat therapy. This historical therapy was revealed by the 12 different types of saunas to release your daily fatigues and to restore yourself. Refresh your body and mind with the heat of a 500-year-old tradition. King Spa and Fitness.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
Yes is brought to you in part by Capital One Bank. What's in your wallet? By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By DirecTV, it'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Hyundai. Think Hyundai, but act now for special lease deals at your Hyundai dealer. New York Yankees have just taken the field as we get set to go here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. So let's take a look at today's Tigers starting lineup presented by BMW. And of course, Austin Jackson is the centerpiece in center now for the Tigers. Having a nice spring, batting .424. He'll lead off, play center. Cleet Thomas is out in right, batting second. Brandon Inge is in third, batting third. Miguel Cabrera will play first and bat cleanup. Carlos Guillen is the DH today for the Tigers. Brandon Laird will catch and bat sixth. Wilkin Ramirez is in left. Brent Glugich is at second base. And Ramon Santiago will round out the order playing short. And of course, they go up against CC Sabathia, building that inning count and that pitch count right now.
And he is. You see the numbers for spring training, and they're not pretty at this point, but you do not worry about the numbers. You just want to make sure CC gets his work in. Take a look at a scouting report on the Yankees' #1 starter. It's about that time to see some results if you're the Yankees. You want to see your #1 guy get some strikeouts, maybe some swings and misses. And he was well balanced his last time. Standing a little taller on his back leg, it really straightened him out mechanically. He's going to stretch it out today to probably about 80 pitches, maybe 5 innings.
I think part of it is him just being a little amped up when spring comes around, and he's kind of like a horse at the gate ready to break out.
Well, you see Dave Island there with Joe Girardi, the pitching coach. He said, you know, some of these pitchers, they're so excited to get back out there that maybe they rush a little bit and mechanics are off.
All right, first pitch from CC to Austin Jackson, and it's in there for a strike. Now, Austin Jackson has put up some terrific numbers in 12 games so far, 14 hits, 10 runs scored. So he's not only making contact and getting on, but the Tigers behind him are knocking him in. In fact, they're averaging about 6.5 runs per game in spring training. I know numbers flash in spring don't mean everything. That's a good start for this offense.
Well, and Austin Jackson coming in here, you know, with the part of the trade, you want to impress the coaching staff, the manager Jim Leland. Jim Leland was raving about Austin Jackson today.
And the 1-1, and CC gets one across the plate, a swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
Now, I guess the one knock on Austin Jackson coming up through the minor leagues with the Yankees, a top prospect, but didn't really develop that power, and obviously still has some maturing to do. But he's done a nice job in center field, and the Tigers are very pleased.
And outside corner, CC Sabathia starting the game off with a strikeout of Austin Jackson. Good spot right there.
You always pay attention early to a pitcher and to see if he's on. Look at Cervelli, a nice wide target behind the plate. Looked like a backdoor cutter. Located perfectly, freezes Austin Jackson on the outside half.
So that'll bring up Cleet Thomas playing right field today. Thomas this spring, another one of these guys just raking, batting .357. He's got a homer and 3 runs batted in. The Tigers as a team batting almost .300 so far this spring, and CC misses.
Cleet Thomas playing right field today. Maglio Ordonez will be the right fielder for the Tigers when they break camp, and they're hoping for a kind of rebound year for Ordonez. The power numbers were down last year.
And lifted out to left field, and that's Marcus Timms racing back to the warning track. It'll short hop, and Cleet Thomas into second base with a double here off CC Sabathia. Let's take a look at the defense for the Yankees. The defensive alignment brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. We saw Marcus Timms out in left. He gets a start, while Rule 5 pick Jeannie Hoffman is out in center, and Greg Golson is out in right. It's the regular infield. Alex Rodriguez at third, Derek Jeter at short, Robinson Cano at second, and Mark Teixeira at first. Francisco Cervelli doing the catching today, and Sabathia on the mound. So Joe Girardi trying to keep the infield together at this point. There is a split squad game. They're going to play Tampa Bay later tonight, so the starting outfield for the Yankees will be going to that game. This is Brandon Inge, the third baseman for the Tigers, with Cleet Thomas on second after the double. CC looks like he's firing away. Pretty crisp so far.
Now he does, and you know, we talked to Dave Island, the pitching coach, and he said just watch his back leg when he's coming towards home plate. If he kind of dips a little bit and jumps out at home plate, that's not going to be a good thing. And it looks like he's got that back leg strong today early on in the first inning.
And missing outside. The way Dave Island talked about it, almost like when they say you swing at a golf ball too hard, swing nice and easy. Said CeCe needs to do the same thing. Just that motion to home plate easy. Don't get out after it too fast.
Yeah, and I can't relate it to pitching. I can relate it to him, where you overswing a little bit. You try to create bat speed instead of letting it happen.
And shattered bat over the head of Cano into right center field. And they're going to wave Thomas around. The throw will be way up first base. Cervelli can't get it, so Sabathia backing up. And Cervelli over to get it, but Inge ends up at second. After Golson kind of airmails one there up the first baseline.
The Yankee coaching staff won't be real happy with Golson, but you watch Inge, looks like a little sinker on the outer half. He shatters his bat, but strong enough to drive it to right field. But a young player, a good prospect in right field, Golson, comes up trying to do a little bit too much. You see that ball cuts away from Cervelli. Sabathia backing up, and Inge is going to cruise into second base.
Well, here's a guy that is no stranger to driving in runs. He's got a potential one at second base right now. This is Miguel Cabrera. So far this spring, 6 runs batted in. And they'll rely on him again to put up some huge numbers at Comerica Park this season.
It's a big year for him. He hit 34 with 103 RBIs last year, and a lot was made in the offseason. Kind of cleaned his act up off the field, had some alcohol problems. They said he was looking leaner in spring training. I don't really see that right now. Bob looks pretty much the same size as last year.
And Sabathia in with a strike, 1-1. Maybe he just hasn't tightened his belt like he normally does.
Having a good spring training, 343. But you're right, he's a run producer in an RBI situation here.
Ball low. Inge is at second, 2-1 from Sabathia. And this is what you're talking about, the consistency in the runs batted in, but the home run total. He'll give you 30 every season. That's not a problem. It's making sure you got the guys around him that he can knock in. But he's perennially an American League MVP candidate.
And he's so tough to pitch to, too, because he doesn't hit the ball the other way. He hits it the other way with power.
And a swing and a miss.
If you're behind the plate or you're CC Sabathia trying to pitch this guy, you cannot pitch him one way. If you pitch him out over the plate, he's going to drive the ball to right field, hit some home runs that way. If you leave anything soft middle in, he's going to make you pay to left field. A good opportunity here for Francisco Cervelli to work with the #1 starter. You know Jorge Posada is going to get a lot of the reps this year. A nice opportunity. Joe Girardi giving the backup a start with the #1 guy.
And he's developed a real quick and easy rapport with a lot of these pitchers, hasn't he? Maybe unlike some young guys who would be a backup catcher.
Well, Cervelli's not intimidated. I mean, last year, obviously, what he did for this team was well documented, but I think he's so much more comfortable in the clubhouse this spring than any other time. He's gotten that first taste of the big leagues out of the way, had some success.
And they look for a check swing, and they got him. So Sabathia punching out Miguel Cabrera, who couldn't hold up for the second out here in the top of the first.
We'll take a look from the side and see if he swung. Looked like he came through. But the one thing you like from Sabathia early on here, he's popping that fastball, 93 miles an hour, up in the zone. The best velocity that we have seen from him this spring.
So man on second, 2 outs here top of the first, and Carlos Guillen, the DH, digs in against Sabathia. Is this what we talked about? Flash in the open as Sabathia misses away. The fact that he's already given up a run, but the stuff looks so good right now. It's sort of both sides of the fence.
It's noticeable how much better his stuff is. You see the numbers for spring training for Guillen. And like I said in the open, that's what the Yankees are looking for. Just, you know, how's the ball going to come out of his hand? Mechanically, it looks like he's a little bit better.
And lifted out to right center field. Golson is over and gloves it for the final out of the inning. Well, CC Sabathia, the stuff looks good. He does give up a run, but the Yankees are coming to bat after this.
For your feet. With ZigTech, I get more train, less pain. Get Nissan quality now. Get safety now. Get savings now. This is Nissan Now. A sales event with our best deals ever on our strongest lineup ever. 0% financing on every sedan, crossover, truck, and SUV. Plus, great lease offers like $199 on the new Altima. Event ends soon. Get to Nissan now.
We're back in Tampa as we get set to go in the bottom half of the first inning. First go-round for the Yankees, so let's take a look at their starting lineup presented by Lexus. Derek Jeter will lead off playing short. Nick Johnson is the DH. Mark Teixeira playing first base. Alex Rodriguez had last night off. He is penciled into the cleanup hole, playing third. Robinson Cano is at second. Marcus Timms in left. Jamie Hoffman in center. Francisco Cervelli bats eighth. He's catching, and Greg Olson is out in right. Of course, they go up against the terrific young right-hander, Rick Porcello. When I say young, he made a huge splash last season with the Tigers, winning 14 games at the age of 20.
It's pretty impressive. You see the numbers for this spring training impressive. 9 innings, has not given up an earned run. Take a look at our scouting report on Rick Porcello. It is not that easy at 20 years old to win 14 games in the major leagues and have an ERA under 4, but he did it. But will he have a sophomore slump? That is the question mark. The league will make some adjustments. But this spring, he's looked just as impressive. We mentioned it, the 9 innings and no runs given up.
You mentioned it's not that easy, but he makes it look easy. So what does it say about the player? Because you rarely see 20-year-olds handle things like he has. He's 21 now, but you rarely see that.
When you talk to people around the Tigers organization, they talk about his stuff, but I think more importantly, they talk about his makeup. Just a very calm customer, goes about his business. Looking for big things this year from him.
And in his initial season last year, didn't seem intimidated in any situation. For some guys, maybe facing a Derek Jeter would be intimidating. Jeter knocked in a couple runs in last night's win over the Tampa Bay Rays, and Porcello starts him off with a strike.
Derek Jeter swung a hot bat last night. Also made a play, dove for a ball, and looked like he had a little trouble with his throwing hand, but he said it's fine.
Well, Porcello, like Sabathia, crisp and firing him in there, so he's quickly ahead of Jeter 0-2.
Little day game after a night game for the Yankees shortstop. That'll be an adjustment in spring training.
And Porcello outside corner burns the strike across the outside, and he strikes out Jeter on 3 pitches. Let's take a look at the Tigers' defensive alignment, brought to you by the Home Depot, doing more on defense. Around the outfield, it is Ramirez, Jackson in center, Thomas out in right. The infield, Brandon Inge, Ramon Santiago, Brent Lugach, and Miguel Cabrera at first. Behind the plate is Gerald Laird, and again, Porcello on the mound as he gets set now to face Nick Johnson. And Johnson's had a nice spring, starting things off. After that initial little back tweak that he had, flash, he's settled down, but look at the strikeout pitch.
How many times do you see Derek Jeter go up to the plate and not swing the bat? Take 3 fastballs, they were all located perfectly.
And Porcello evens a count of 1-1 against Nick Johnson. That's the thing. It'll be interesting to see his second at bat against Porcello. You know Jeter's filed that away as well. He is Rocket Rick right now, firing him in there, 1-2. Tough to do against a guy like this if he's throwing strikes. Nick Johnson, we know, likes to be patient, but it's hard to do.
You know what, after the first at bat, you make a little bit of an adjustment. Tell you what, even when he's missing, he's not missing by a lot, and they're all fastballs, just kind of rearing back, challenging the first 2 Yankee hitters.
And Johnson checks his swing, and it's 3-2.
Good little sinking fastball, just misses the outside corner. As a hitter, Bob, you start thinking he's got to throw an off-speed pitch. I mean, we've seen, what, 8 pitches so far? They've all been fastballs.
But is it different if you have a fastball that moves like that, has that little tail on it?
It's like 2 different pitches. You know, you have a straight fastball and then the 2-seamer.
And Johnson chops one to the right side. That's Cabrera easily over to the bag for the second out.
Best case scenario for a starting pitcher, if you can go through the lineup one time and fastball, changeup maybe, you don't show all of your weapons until you get in trouble. You usually see that from a veteran pitcher. Obviously, Porcello feeling very, very good about his fastball early on.
You said going into this thing, he hadn't given him a run this spring. He's been almost letter perfect. It's Mark Teixeira, and he looks at a strike. Porcello missing away. Tough to find young guys with this much command.
But that's usually the last thing to come from a young pitcher. You know, you usually see him come up to the big leagues with big arms, power stuff. Don't have an idea how to locate. They don't have an idea of how to pitch, how to read swings. It's going to be fun to watch this kid this year. Like I said, the American League is going to make some adjustments. They've seen him, 14 wins. Can he make the adjustments to what they're trying to do?
And Teixeira, high chopper over the bag at second. Santiago on to first, and that'll do it. So Porcello quickly dispatches the Yankees here, bottom half of the first. They'll take a 1-0 lead into the second. Well, Sunday afternoon, the Bombers have a rematch with the Tigers here at Steinbrenner Field. Coverage starts at 1 o'clock when Ken Singleton and I have the call. And don't forget, opening day on Sunday, April 4th, as the Yankees take on the Red Sox at Fenway. Yankees baseball is back right here on Yes. And we are back for the top half of the second inning with the Tigers up 1-0 over CC Sabathia and the Yankees. CC getting ready for his second inning of work as he faces the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Tigers. Gerald Laird leading things off. And looping one out into right field. That's Golson racing in and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Golson shaking his head. It looked like he backed up a little bit initially, but a good enough athlete to cover some ground. Wonder if the sun had anything to do with that. He's got the glasses on, so he's prepared. Really got a bad jump, kind of froze, flat-footed, but athletic enough to make the play.
Wilkin Ramirez is the hitter. And Sabathia starts him off with a strike.
Well, Bob, I think you and I did a game early on with CC Sabathia, and he didn't have that little pause in his delivery we were talking about. See the numbers for spring training for Ramirez. It looks like he's got that nice little hesitation early on in this ball game with his delivery right there.
And the one thing we've seen, and we talked to Dave Island, the pitching coach today, CC's, he said, is really good at making in-game adjustments. If you say, hey, you're doing this, boom, he seems to be able to turn it around. Some pitchers aren't able to do that.
Good change up there. You're right. You know, and that's Dave Island's job as the pitching coach with his pitchers. You know, remind them in between innings what they're doing. But you're right, CC, the ability to make adjustments during a ball game, not easy to do.
And the 2-1. And Ramirez lifting one out into the right field corner. And that one will just flare foul. So evens the count to 2-2. Golson's been a little busy out there so far this game.
It has, and we got a little wind going left to right, so everything is going to slice away from Golson.
You see the flags were down just a second ago. Now they're up. The wind, typical of what we've had this spring. Kind of kicks up, gusty, and grounded short. Jeter's got it. On to Tex for out number 2. Well, I mentioned the wind. Let's take a look at the game time weather conditions presented by Toyota. Even the wind is welcome, at least when the sun's out. What is that glowing orb in the sky? It's the sun. We really haven't seen it. We kind of joke about it, but it's been cold, 50 at night. With the wind, knocks it down below that, but today 66. But look at this. It's almost a perfect match with the Bronx. Great weather back home, Flash.
Oh, it is. Talked to the family this morning, said it's beautiful back home. But I'm sure CC Sabathia is welcoming this warm weather. He's not a guy that enjoys pitching in the cold. We saw that a little bit at the beginning of the year last year.
And cracks a fastball into the mid of Francisco Cervelli for strike number 1.
You hear me all the time talk about, well, how's the ball coming out of his hand? That crack of the glove, Bob, will tell you that CC Sabathia is feeling pretty good about his stuff. Proud of his stuff right now.
And grounded foul. And that's a good sound for a pitcher, isn't it? Sometimes you don't quite have that same crack of the mid or the pop, and when you get it, it kind of builds a little confidence, doesn't it?
You know, you can relate it to a hitter when you're just standing up there. Maybe you're looking for a breaking ball, and here comes a fastball, and you're able to take care of it. It's the same thing with a pitcher. When your delivery is nice and easy, and all of a sudden you're popping the glove.
And a breaking ball on 0-2 to Brent Dlugac, and that will do it. So Sabathia, a very efficient top half of the second. We'll take it to the bottom half after an inning-ending strikeout with the Yanks down 1-0.
The 2009 New York Yankees a world champion.
Field-level seats between the bases at Yankee Stadium are now on sale on a full season ticket plans and partial.
Done pitching, they said, "What'd you think of the kid?" I said, "Well, the kid did all right, and their guy did pretty good too. He's younger than him, so." But he's, it starts with talent, and then he's got a lot of poise and everything. But normally, when you got that kind of, it's kind of like Doc Gooden when I saw him early on with the Mets. When you got that kind of stuff, it's pretty easy to have poise.
Well, Jim Leland there on 21-year-old Rick Porcello, who had a very good first inning against the Yankees. Struck out Derek Jeter, little grounder by Nick Johnson at first, and then got Mark Teixeira to ground to short. It was a 1-2-3 bottom of the first, and here he is in the second, facing Alex Rodriguez leading off the inning. And Alex, a chopper to the left side. Brandon Inge gonna have to hustle and off balance, can't handle it, so Alex is aboard safely at first. Tough play for Inge.
Tough play for Inge, but Porcello has such a good sinking fastball. You're going to see a lot of these jam shots from the right-handers. You see Inge coming in, decides to go with the glove, and the problem is going to be on the transfer. Does not get a good grip. But check out the movement on this sinker. It starts away, ends up down and in. And Alex Rodriguez just rolls right over the top.
What was interesting about watching that, you see his hands. He has to move them back in. So it just shows how much that ball is moving. So Alex is aboard. Robinson Cano digs in and chops one foul, swinging first pitch. What are your thoughts on this? I haven't had a chance to talk to you on the air about it. Robinson Cano in the 5-hole for the Yankees this season.
You know what? I'm excited about it. He's having a good spring, hitting .400. But Robinson Cano is 4.5+ years in the major leagues. And, we talk all the time about how talented he is, probably has some gold gloves in his future. This is a natural progression to hit fifth, protect Alex Rodriguez.
And that is hit. Cleanly singled into center field, so the Yankees are in business. 2 aboard here, nobody out in the bottom half of the second.
It's just the next step for Robinson Cano to get to that elite status. Again, it's going to be another sinking fastball. Robinson goes out and really covers the outside corner. You have to stay through the baseball. Watch the way the bat goes back towards the pitcher. Staying in the strike zone a long time. Nice piece of hitting.
Think he could be that patient hitter they need him to be in the 5-hole?
He's never going to be patient, but I think what Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, has to do is give him a better game plan when he comes up to the plate, especially RBI situations.
All right, this is Marcus Timms, and he fouls one away. So golden opportunity for Marcus Timms here, as that left field competition is wide open, and he's certainly got as good a shot as anybody right now, given the way the rest of the guys have hit.
Yeah, he's impressed Kevin Long. I mean, the numbers really haven't shown it yet, but, his batting sessions, BP sessions have been pretty good. And this is a tough draw for him, Bob. I mean, he has a reputation, and the numbers prove it, that he wears left-handed pitching out. And then you get a start, a day game after a night game, facing a tough righty. Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, will pay close attention.
Well, Timms is quickly in an 0-2 hole. Let's see what he does here. Porcello misses away.
Keep waiting for that first off-speed pitch. We've seen all fastballs through the first and into the second inning from Porcello. Been in this situation as a hitter, you start thinking he has to throw me a slider, he has to throw me something off speed, and he just keeps pumping fastballs.
And tries another one and misses.
Looked like the first off-speed pitch, a little 79-mile-an-hour slurve.
So 2-2 to Timms. Chance to knock in a run, and it's a fastball outside and fouls it away.
Good swing right there from Marcus Timms. Had a pitch to hit out over the plate and fouled it off. See, the numbers have not been great through 9 games. You start shaking your head, Bob, when you have a good swing like that, a pitch to hit, and you miss it and foul it off, and now you have to go back to work against a tough righty.
And a shattered bat, it's down the third base line and foul. That bat flew a mile past Inge into shallow left center, or left field.
See a lot of this from the right-handed batters against Porcello with the sinker. Check out the bat head you're going to see come flying through our screen. Brandon Inge concentrating on the baseball. Bat head is out of his way. And again, just look at the movement on this sinking fastball in on the hands of Timms.
Timms goes and grabs a new piece of lumber there to step up against Porcello once again. Count even at 2. And again, Tim's a chance to etch something in Joe Girardi's mind here. Get something done, knock in a run, even the ball game, maybe more. And can't hold himself up there. Doesn't like the call there by home plate umpire Andy Fletcher, but he's down with a strikeout for the first out.
Take a look again. It's another sinking fastball down and in. It looks like Mark is committed. We get another look from the side. Definitely took a swing there. Doesn't like the call, but I'll tell you, it's a tough at bat against this righty with that good sinker.
So it brings up Jamie Hoffman, and you know these guys are kind of in the same boat, looking for that 4th outfielder spot, get some starts, maybe a few reps in the outfield, as Porcello deals and misses with an off-speed pitch. As spring goes on here now, you've got, what, 2 weeks left of games, week and a half. Do you start to feel the pressure if your numbers aren't good because you know you're really fighting for a spot?
Well, of course, but I think you're also thinking, I'm probably not going to get too many more at-bats the rest of spring training because the regulars are going to command those at-bats. So the opportunities might not be there.
Hoffman's had some reps, just 3 hits and 21 at-bats. But he has been in 9 games, so they want to get as good a look as they can at these guys. And today's a great day to do it with the starting outfielders going on the road tonight to take on the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, you're right. A lot of talk in spring training about that number 5 spot in the rotation and tough decisions. But a guy like Hoffman, if you can't find space on the roster, you have to offer him back.
Porcello missing once again, so Hoffman's worked a 3-0 count.
Just assume here that Hoffman would have the take sign 3-0 against Porcello. Bob, if you're going to make an impression, this is the count that you can do it here if you're Hoffman. I mean, you just look for that sinking fastball middle in. You cheat a little bit, try to get the bat head out, do some damage, and make an impression at the same time.
And a swing and a miss, and there was that sinking fastball, and it was a good one. So that moves the count to 3-2.
You're right. He wanted a fastball in. He got it. Look at that movement down and in. Can't do anything with it. You're almost better off swinging over the top.
And fouled straight back. So Hoffman just about on that one, trying to figure Porcello out here. He's got Alex Rodriguez on second, Robinson Cano on first. First 2 batters of the inning. A couple singles and they were in business, but now Porcello trying to get things back together here and get a second out, or maybe get out of the inning.
You know, Hoffman's an interesting situation with this Rule 5 deal. You know, they got to keep him around. If not, you have to offer him back to the Dodgers. But the Yankees traditionally not a team where you're going to maybe hide an extra outfielder.
And Porcello misses, so Hoffman draws the walk, and the Yankees have the bases loaded.
If Hoffman's going to make this team, he's going to have to do something to earn it.
Well, Porcello's been busy so far. Very efficient first inning, but he's working here in the second. His pitch count already up to 31. Again, I imagine, Flash, he's probably on the same track as Sabathia, probably 75, 80 pitches today.
Yeah, probably in that ballpark, and good numbers for Cervelli here in spring training. But we talked about CeCe and how it looks like he has his good stuff and he's happy with it. Right now, Porcello, even though he's in trouble here, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Velocity's good, movement is nice.
Francisco Cervelli, 7 hits and 12 at-bats so far this spring. Now, a lot's been made of the helmet that he's wearing after the concussions. I think it says a lot about him. The fact that he could take ribbing for wearing that bigger helmet, but he doesn't. He's immune to it, it seems almost. He almost seems like he likes it because he's certainly hitting better.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has the right attitude because, you know, a couple of concussions in his young career, I mean, that's nothing to laugh about. So you wear this helmet to protect yourself. And if your teammates are going to give you a hard time, it's all in fun. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys in that clubhouse.
There's the comparison. The Great Gazoo, that's what they call him. You know what I'd say in response? Hello, dum-dum.
Do you think that Cervelli has any idea who the Great Gazoo is? I mean, he's so young, he probably never saw the show.
And Porcello gets a strike across the outside corner. You know, he probably looks at the picture and goes, oh, okay, I don't know who that is, but I get it.
Yeah.
I see the comparison.
You see the comparison. Well, if you're Porcello right here, you're thinking one pitch, possible double play with Cervelli, who runs pretty good for a catcher. Just keep pounding that sinker and you might get a double play, get out of a jam.
You know, it's interesting. We see Cervelli so active behind the plate. Watch his at-bats after every pitch. Very engaged. There's always a little snap when he comes out of the box. There's constant energy around this guy.
Kevin Long really did a nice job with him last year, using his legs in his swing a little bit more.
And a chopper to Inge. He's got a hop to get it. He comes home for one, so they'll get the lead runner, and the Yankees won't get a run. They'll still have the bases loaded now, but there's 2 outs.
Porcello is always going to be one pitch away from a possibility of a double play. Cervelli pounds this ball into the dirt. Usually some hard fields here in Florida during spring training. Inge comes up, is thinking about maybe going to first. Easy play in front of him at home. Looked over at first a little bit, but the play was right in front of him. An easy decision.
So the 9-hitter, Greg Golson. Golson with the bases loaded now. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. And Porcello inducing a lot of ground balls, little chops in front of the plate.
You know, we watched, what, an inning and 2/3 already, and I think I can count maybe 2 really good swings off him. Robinson Cano and Marcus Timms had a good swing, fouled it off. Every other one had been that kind of in between.
And that's a ground ball to Santiago. Gobbled up, and he drops it. He bobbles it, and the 1-run scores. He'll throw over to third to check Hoffman, but the Yankees have tied the game thanks to the miscue by Santiago.
Well, Golson runs well, so I'm sure that had something to do here. Another weak ground ball to shortstop. Looks like a routine play, comes up with it and can't get the grip, can't get a handle. You wonder if the speed of Golson maybe forced him when he looks up. He saw that he was moving down the line pretty good and rushed the play. Check him coming out of the box. He can fly. Young Bob Lorenz there getting down the line.
Do you have me confused with somebody else? When I used to run 100-yard dashes, that gave the coaches a chance to nap while I was doing it.
You knew Derek Jeter was not going to go up and not swing the bat this at bat. He struck out on 3 pitches, did not get the bat off of his shoulders. First pitch swing and fouled it off.
So let's see if it's a different result here. 0-1. Classic Jeter out to right field. The 1-run will score. Rounding and scoring just ahead of the tag is Cervelli, and the Yankees on the base hit by Jeter lead it 3-1.
Santiago makes that error that opens up the door, and Derek Jeter takes advantage. The good teams always make you pay for those extra outs. A classic Jeter swing down and in, doesn't try to pull it like everybody else has tried to early on in this game. Just stays through it the other way. Look at Cervelli coming around, and a nice slide. Another catcher showing some athletic ability.
You're talking about speed like a young John Flaherty. Is that what you're saying?
I can never make that kind of slide.
I've stumbled like that a few times. Nick Johnson, a soft chop and the grounder to first, his first time up. Very quiet bottom of the first inning. The Yankees have now sent 8 batters to the plate here in the bottom half of the second. These are the first runs this spring given up by Rick Porcello.
It all started with an infield hit by Alex Rodriguez. Kind of got the Yankees going here in the second. We saw the 3 home runs for Nick Johnson early on in spring training. Good sign for the Yankees and Kevin Long, the hitting instructor.
Just inside and right across the kneecaps of Nick Johnson, but he gets out of the way.
And this is what pitchers all around the major leagues try to do to Nick Johnson. They try to pitch him inside because he hits the ball so well the other way. Fortunate to get out of the way. Kevin Long said he welcomes pitchers trying to pitch him inside this year.
Porcello right across the heart of the plate, 2-1. That is the 31st pitch of this inning for Porcello.
There's Kevin looking on. He told me, I said, you know, it looks like Nick's trying to pull the ball a little bit more. He said he's not trying to. They're just pitching him in there. Made a little bit of an adjustment with his back leg where he's a little quicker.
And the results are 3 home runs early on in spring training.
And chopped to the right side once again. And Cabrera's there to glove it for the final out, but not before the Yankees get to work offensively and work Porcello over a little bit. They get 3 in the bottom of the second.
All grades of BP gasoline with Invictus
only in the Sunday Daily News.
We're getting set to go here, top of the third at Steinbrenner Field. It is the Yankees leading the Tigers 3-1 top of the third, and this gives us a chance to get down and talk to Kimberly Jones, who joins us. We saw her down by the batting cage earlier.
She's working a little day game after a night game.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it, guys. How are you?
You better get used to it, because there's going to be plenty of those in the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we've talked a little bit about Rick Porcello and the fact that it's a credit to him and his family, the way he was raised, the maturation process. You could probably make the same case, Kim, for Jim Leland and general manager Dave Dombrowski. They gave this guy an opportunity. Some teams might not, but it came through for him.
Absolutely, and Jim Leland last year when Porcello was a rookie never shied away from the guy. The one thing he did, though, fellas, is gave him a break midway through the season, built it into Porcello's schedule, thought that would better him in the second half, as it did. It also, they believe, helped him this season. As you mentioned, John, they love his makeup. Jim Leland calls it poise. They also love the fact that he's a known quantity for them now, obviously along with Justin Verlander. In fact, Leland said, if I could find a number 4 and 5 starter and get Joel Zumaya straightened out, we might be okay.
Well, that was Ramon Santiago grounding to Derek Jeter for the first out here in the top half of the third inning. Now let's talk about the Yankees and one young guy who has poise for them. We saw in the postseason and back half of the season last year, Phil Hughes. We don't know what's going to happen with him yet in terms of the 5th starter position. Will he get that or go back to the pen? But if he's not in the pen, as we see Austin Jackson lay down a bunt, nice play by Cervelli and a good pick by Teixeira at first for the second out of the inning. Kim, as we look at that situation with the 5th starter, if Phil Hughes gets that job and he's not in the pen, is that a glaring void for the Yankees?
I don't think so, and that's mainly because of the emergence of David Robertson, a strikeout machine. The Yankee coaching staff absolutely loves him. You've got to figure also, guys, if Phil Hughes is the number 5 starter, Jaba's also in the pen. But Dave Robertson is someone the Yankees have an awful lot of trust in, and yesterday was another reason they have it, because he is really pitching very well, trusting his stuff, as we hear Flaherty say all the time. But David Robertson is a key weapon for this bullpen this year.
Clete Thomas fouls one off. He doubled in his first inning and scored the Tigers' only run. Now, with regard to that 5th starter position, I saw you talking to Joe Girardi today. Has he narrowed his focus for that 5th starter yet?
It was a grilling, wasn't it, Bob? I'll tell you, I was trying. Joe Girardi says by next week at this time he'd love to know his 5th starter. If the competition is still strong, however, he'll extend that deadline. Mitre and Godin do pitch tonight, the split squad today. They are against the Rays. Joe also said guys can eliminate themselves from competition from here on out as well. So still something to obviously take a look at beginning tonight.
Starting to get a little more serious for those guys, certainly, and some great options in terms of pitching for Girardi and pitching coach Dave Island. Now let's talk about the guy catching today's ballgame for the Yankees, Francisco Cervelli. And you know, young guys, we talk about them in terms of pitching, but what about catching? They have to grow into a backup role. The question is, how do they do that? Cervelli seems to be doing it pretty quickly.
He does, and quickly, guys, I'll tell you, Romulo Sanchez last night had a rough outing against the Rays, and at his locker when he came off, Francisco Cervelli was waiting for him. He counseled him. He told me he gave him part pep talk, part constructive criticism, and he also said, by the way, you really need to talk to Mariano. He will help you straighten things out. He's the best resource we have. Tony Pena told me of Cervelli, he's really maturing. He will be a great backup catcher for us, and he cares about not only doing his job well, but about people. And Tony Pena believes that's a very good quality in a catcher.
All right, so Sabathia 2-2 with 2 outs here. Kim, just a quick question. I know you're going to start blogging when the season begins again. Are you tweeting as well?
It looks like it. Stay tuned, Bob.
All right. Hot shot to the left side. Clete Thomas is going to be aboard again for the 2nd time in this game as the ball gets by Alex Rodriguez. All right, Kim, I asked that because I actually had somebody ask me that. They're very excited about the possibility of you tweeting. So.
Well, we need to build excitement, and then we'll see what happens. How's that sound?
Exactly. All right, Kim, we'll see you a little bit later on.
All right, guys.
All right, so Clete Thomas aboard after the single to left. 2 outs here in the top half of the third, and Brandon Inge. He drove in the run earlier in the first inning. The only run of the game so far for the Tigers. And Sabathia misses in. In this type of game, got a pretty quick eye at first. Jim Leland, do you think about stealing him, seeing what that guy can do?
Yeah, why not? I mean, Clete Thomas has had 2 good at-bats against CC Sabathia, left on left, and hit the ball the other way both times. So looks like he has a good lead, maybe thinking about getting into scoring position with 2 outs.
And Sabathia misses again, 2-0.
Love that story from Kim Jones about Cervelli in the clubhouse, Bob, because, you know, if you think about a young player who got his feet wet in the big leagues last year and now is not really thinking about himself, he's thinking about other young pitchers on the staff and helping them after a tough outing. And that's impressive for a young player, trying to establish himself in the big leagues.
And, you know, it's funny because we talk about his personality, and as we see Inge, a hot shot to second. Robbie Cano almost falling backwards, but he gets it over to Tech. So we're going to head to the bottom of the third here. More on Cervelli and the way he fits into that clubhouse and behind the plate. And in the backup role, Robbie Cano. Loving it, and on to Tex. We're headed to the bottom of the third.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
Come out to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. On Thursday, April 15th, when the Yankees take on the Angels, don't miss a very special cap night at Yankee Stadium. All fans in attendance will receive a 27-time world champions Yankees hat, courtesy of H&R Block. In 2010, come home to Yankee Stadium, the home of champions.
The Laurel is a reward for achievement. Reward yourself at the Cadillac Laurel event with a CTS sports sedan. Visit soon, because while there is no expiration date on achievement, on rewarding it, there is.
Qualified current lessees visit CadillacTristate.com.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to offer great value. Judges, who will you believe?
We're the biggest value in entertainment.
We offer the same TV as DirecTV for less. Does the same include channels like AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, FX? Not in our basic package like yours.
Judges?
In your face. In your face.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned.
You may be eligible for New York City's nicotine patch and gum giveaway, now available for a limited time only through March 25th. Quit smoking today. For help, call 311 or visit nyc.gov/nycquits.
Tomorrow night on Yes, the Nets have a rematch with Chris Bosh and the Raptors at Izod Center. Complete coverage starts at 7 o'clock with the Nets pregame. Then Marv Albert and Mike Fratello have the call from courtside. Raptors, Nets, coverage starts tomorrow night at 7, only on Yes. We're back bottom of the third. Yankees leading at 3-1 over the Tigers. It's 3-4-5 facing Porcello, Teixeira, A-Rod, and Robinson Cano. Yankees putting 3 runs on the board in the bottom half of the second inning. Teixeira grounded to short his first time up in the bottom of the first. And swings and misses. Now, Mark Teixeira so far, the numbers flash have been very good in spring training, but we also know traditionally when the season begins, it gets off to a little bit of a slow start.
318, a couple of home runs, 3 RBIs. You're right, it's something to pay attention to. Kevin Long said they're not going to change the program. Felt like Mark had a great spring training last year, then got nicked up a little bit at the beginning of the year and got off to a slow start. It's almost like you don't want to give it too much attention, Bob. You know, like he's traditionally a slow starter. You just keep your mouth shut and get the work done.
And looks at a good pitch inside from Porcello, but he just misses, so the count's at 3-2. Well, these are the numbers we talked about. Now, it's tied to the return of Alex Rodriguez, but as you mentioned, there was a little wrist issue at the start of the season. He wouldn't use that as an excuse as he chops one right out in front of the plate down the first base line, and Porcello on to first for the first out of the inning. He never used that as an excuse.
It was never an excuse, and you saw the numbers after Alex Rodriguez came back, and obviously that had something to do with it. But if you remember, Tex was working underneath the baseball a lot that first month and really popping up a lot of pitches he should have been driving. And it's just another thing to pay attention to when you head back east. Cold weather will have something to do with it.
I think it's a reminder, too, for fans who watch how important the wrists are to hitting, because if your wrist is a little sore, a little tweaked, that can really affect your swing. Alex Rodriguez singled in his first time at bottom of the second.
It's one of those at-bats, if you're Alex Rodriguez, you can really gauge where you're at in spring training. Talking a lot about the sinking fastball from Porcello. If you can center that, hit it on the good part of the bat, you're going to feel good about where you are mechanically.
And Alex absolutely puts the hammer down. This one out to left and deep. Where are you gauging that one, Flash? That is a long fly ball and gone for a solo home run.
Well, Alex Rodriguez today in the batting cage just put on a show. His first at bat against Porcello got jammed, rolled over a sinking fastball, but not this one. You got to feel pretty good about where you are mechanically. Check out location, up, middle. Like you said, Bob, that is just crushed.
It looks like it went over the George M. Steinbrenner Field scoreboard. Yep, over the Pepsi sign. That is the biggest of big flies right there. Robinson Cano singled in his first at bat, later scored. And the Yankees up 4-1 after the solo home run by Alex Rodriguez. And Cano chops one. You know, we're seeing Porcello, you mentioned this in the first inning. A lot of fastballs, nothing else. I don't know that he'd follow this MO in a regular season game necessarily, but he's really mixing in pitches more now.
Yeah, and we also talked about the American League is going to make some adjustments, and you saw Alex Rodriguez, the first at bat, get jammed on a sinker, a little bit more patient the second at bat, and got one out over the plate. Some things Porcello is going to have to adjust to.
And a hard shot to first. Miguel Cabrera backhands onto Porcello. Second out here in the bottom of the third.
Check out Alex Rodriguez on the Yes Exmo. Gets that front foot down. Look at the extension, head down. What do you like about that swing? He doesn't drift forward at all, stays on his back leg. Obviously went a long way.
When we use the Yes Exmo, Cam, usually it's pretty important, and I believe there was an X way out in left field for A-Rod to hit that ball onto. He knocked the stuffing out of that ball. So 2 outs here, bottom of the third, and Marcus Timms. Tim struck out swinging his first time up. Little check swing, couldn't hold up. And Porcello working quickly, trying to get back in a groove against Timms. 0-2.
It changed the game plan a little bit. A couple of sliders there to Marcus Timms. First 2 pitches to jump out ahead 0-2.
Barry's one in the dirt there, 1-2.
Sure, Marcus seeing a bunch of his old buddies from the Tigers. Had a nice little run in Detroit. Productive outfielder. A lot of home runs against left-handed pitching.
And smokes a fastball across the outside part of the plate. Tim swings through it. And that's it for the bottom of the third. But the Yankees get one more on Alex Rodriguez. A towering home run over the scoreboard in left center field. Yankees are up 4-1.
The Yankees are back, and YesNetwork.com is your source for in-depth coverage from spring training with daily video updates, interviews, blogs, and photo galleries. Plus, follow Yes Network on Twitter for the latest updates. YesNetwork.com, your Yankees spring training.
NBA League Pass on DirecTV turns your living room into your own home court. Subscribe now and watch up to 40 games a week, up to 20 in brilliant high definition. Follow your favorite team no matter where you live. Tune in and catch that top players and the high definition NBA action delivered straight to your home. NBA League Pass is the ultimate NBA television experience. Get NBA League Pass Race to the Playoffs package from DirecTV now for the lowest price of the season, just $49. To order, call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or visit directv.com/NBA.
Millionaire Theater presents
Run for your lives! Run for your lives!
Oh no! Giant crabs are attacking our city! You're right, hippie. The entire town will be destroyed.
Good news! I've just won $1 million. Then we should move.
Yeah!
Become a March millionaire. Play $1 Million Instant Jackpot or one of many New York Lottery instant games offering $1 million or more.
For 500 years, Koreans have been practicing a unique heat therapy. This historical therapy was revealed by the 12 different types of saunas to release your daily fatigues and to restore yourself. Refresh your body and mind with the heat of a 500-year-old tradition. King Spa and Fitness.
We're back at Steinbrenner Field as we head to the top of the fourth. Yankees up 4-1. CC Sabathia, after giving up a run in the top half of the first inning, really settled down now. Gotten in a nice groove. And fires a strike to Miguel Cabrera. As we take a look at the Audi scoreboard, 4 runs, 4 hits for the Yankees. The last of those, the towering shot to left center field by Alex Rodriguez, a solo home run to make it 4-1.
You know, Bobby, sorry, Bobby. You see a lot of home runs in spring training. I don't think I've ever seen one go that far as Alex Rodriguez just hit that home run.
I understand there were several complaints to the Federal Aviation Administration for not filing a flight plan for that. That's just rumor, though. And Miguel Cabrera is a guy who can hit the ball out midway, fouls one off to the right side.
And sometimes when you see highlights, spring training home runs, I mean, the wind is gusting out. Somebody gets the ball up in the jet stream, it goes a long way. Alex Rodriguez hit that against traffic. Wind blowing in the opposite direction.
And Sabathia trying to get a Cabrera to commit to a high fastball, couldn't do it.
Look at that velocity, Bob, climbing a little bit up to 94. Looks like he's getting a little stronger as this game is progressing.
That was the 40th pitch so far thrown by Sabathia. As Flash told us, he'll probably throw about 75 or 80 this afternoon. He misses, so Cabrera working it to a full count. What are you seeing from Sabathia maybe over the last couple innings that you didn't see in the first? His stuff was good, but he did give up the run.
Yeah, he gave up a broken bat base hit to Inns to drive in a run, but you know, I just like the way he's locating on both sides of the plate. Got a little pop on the fastball, good slider.
And takes a little something off that. Cabrera goes down swinging. So 2 straight strikeouts for Miguel Cabrera against CC Sabathia in this game so far.
So what makes him so dangerous, CC Sabathia, the ability to drop a 3-2 changeup on a big hitter like Cabrera. And Dave Island and Joe Girardi have to be very happy with what they're seeing. 3-2 count. Look at where Cervelli's setting up. Great target. Ooh, tough pitch.
And it says a lot about the stuff that Sabathia has, because if you're Miguel Cabrera there and you know he's just a fastball pitcher, you're probably looking fastball there thinking I know that's what I'm going to get. But Sabathia, command of those secondary pitches, and he gets a strikeout out of it. He gets a strike right there against Carlos Guillen.
You know, the changeup was really the pitch last year that I don't think a lot of us knew he had, or maybe that he had the confidence to throw it in big time spots. Whenever you saw him with Cleveland, it was fastball, slider. Now he's a 3-pitch pitcher. A lot of strikeouts with that changeup.
A chopper to the third base side, foul.
If you're Cervelli behind the plate, you have a lot of options right now. Your number 1 guy is on top of his game. You can go up with a fastball. See how Cervelli's looking up? He's thinking up. Up with a fastball. Go slider down and in if you want. Maybe you can waste the changeup away. Go with a straight fastball away, it looks like.
And a high fastball, and Guillen looks a little surprised at the call, but he's down for the second out of the inning. Hey, let's take a look at the American Airlines upcoming schedule. And you see Sunday, an afternoon ball game against these Tigers. A lot of Tigers coming up. They're going to head to Lakeland. They're going to play March 27th there, March 28th as well, back here at Steinbrenner Field. But then Clearwater on Monday, so another matchup against the National League champion Phillies. Things really ramping up here as spring training, we're not winding down just yet. We're seeing a lot more of the star players, and we're seeing Sabathia turning in certainly what I think is his best outing in the spring so far.
Yeah, Bob, you can call these the dog days of spring training, kind of that middle time, especially for the veteran players. Start to look forward to spring training ending with about a week to go, and you're not quite there yet.
And and Sabathia misses high. You know, Gerald Laird has been a guy they've always looked to for defense, helping the pitchers come along in this Tigers organization. But Jim Leland this year said, you know what, we need you to step up a little bit offensively. Do you think he can do that?
Oh, he can. 225 with only 4 home runs last year, but he threw out 40% of the runners. So he's a force behind the plate. But you know what, I would compare him to a guy like Rod Barajas. You know, you're not going to hit for a high average, but maybe if you hit 15 home runs, you know, be a little bit more aggressive. When you watch his setup, has the bat on his shoulder. It's more of a consistent launch position for him. He's working on it in spring training. Right there on the shoulder, a comfortable spot.
And a hard hit up the middle, and it works out for Laird this time as he gets a base hit with 2 outs here off CC Sabathia.
You know what, Bob, a lot of times catcher comes over from a new organization. He concentrates so much on the pitching staff, trying to develop a relationship, that your offense struggles. You don't work on your game in the cage as much as you probably would if you were comfortable with a new team. Sets the bat up on the shoulder. It's new for him this spring training, trying to get a feel exactly where that bat head is, and a nice swing. Drives it right back up the middle. I don't think he's ever going to be a high average guy, but I think he's got a little more power than he's shown.
Here's Wilkin Ramirez, grounded to short his first time up. And Sabathia quickly ahead 0-1. Swing and a foul ball. Looked like tipped right off Cervelli's glove.
Yeah, those are the ones that hurt. The foul balls, maybe get your thumb on your catching hand. See, a lot of catchers wear a little plastic protective piece for the thumb. I don't think Cervelli is wearing one. So you're going to take that glove off right away. You'll feel that tonight.
Did you break any bones in your hand?
A lot, yeah. I broke my left hand probably 4 or 5 during my career.
Great breaking ball in the dirt. Gets Wilkin Ramirez to commit to it, so strikes out the side with a single sandwiched in between. Good work by Sabathia as we head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and the Yanks up 4-1.
At Kia, we're proud to have gone where no other car company has gone before. The Kia Forte offers impressive standard horsepower with fuel efficiency, class-leading space, class-leading standard advanced technology, and class-leading standard safety features. All backed by an industry-leading warranty. When you add it all up, the Kia Forte is the obvious choice over the Corolla and Civic. And right now, we're offering 0% APR financing.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch. Or get this Samsung Alias for just $29.99, plus add a line for just $9.99. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
It's one of the best mid-size sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd better give back. The Jaguar XF, the critically acclaimed result of a very different way of thinking.
Lease a 2010 XF for $599 at your tri-state area Jaguar dealer.
Later tonight on Yes, Bob Lorenz hosts an all-new Forbes Sports Money presented by Fox Business Network. Get an in-depth look at the financial state of golf, plus a breakdown of the numbers behind the recent sales of the Charlotte Bobcats and the Texas Rangers. It's an all-new tonight at 9:30, only on Yes.
You know, Michael Ozanian, Forbes national editor, flew down. We taped that show at Innisbrook. I brought my clubs out there. They asked me not to play. Why do you think that is?
I have no idea.
Because apparently you called them. That's what I heard a rumor that you called and told them where my golf game is.
Well, I know we have to watch later on, but is golf in good financial state right now?
It's in okay financial shape, but golf playing around the nation because the economy is off a little bit. So we'll talk about that and a lot more. We saw the Audi scoreboard. It's 4-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Jamie Hoffman drew a walk his first time up against Rick Porcello and later scored. This is a new pitcher Porcello's day done after 3 innings. This is Andy Oliver. And a swing and a miss.
Andy Oliver, a young left-handed pitcher that the Tigers really like. Talk about Porcello a lot. An impressive fastball right there. When you want to find out information, you go to the trainers with the teams, Bob. Steve Carter, a trainer with the Tigers I had back in my early career. There's Grizzly Adams, looking a little rough, but he was raving about Andy Oliver. He said, you know, Porcello gets a lot of the credit or a lot of the accolades, which rightfully so, won 14 games. He said, watch out for this kid Oliver. He's going to be something special. Already showing a good fastball from the left side, about 93.
You know, the Tigers, another one of those franchises we can talk about that finds that balance between the veteran guys, between the good farm system. Had a few top draft picks like Porcello that have come up. And they've also got some money coming off the books next year with a few high-priced players, so they might get some more of those young guys in or maybe make a bid for a couple free agents. They'd be in position to do that. As Hoffman draws his second walk of the game.
Well, for the Tigers, it's all going to come down to their pitching staff, their starting staff. Dontrell Willis trying to resurrect his career. Nate Robertson throwing the ball well in spring training. Jeremy Bonderman a little bit behind, but if a few of those guys can come through and prove that they're healthy, they're going to be dangerous.
And you always, you know, we talked about the Yankees last year as the great 3 that they had up front. Some other guys filling in the blanks. Now the 4 with Javier Vasquez. Really, the Tigers, is it fair to say, have the 2, Verlander and Porcello? Yeah, you're hoping, like you said, for contributions to go a little deeper than that as Cervelli fouls one off.
Well, the good news is they have those names that you would recognize, Willis, Robertson, and Bonderman, who have had success. And, you know, Steve Carter, we showed him the trainer for the Tigers. A lot of that falls on his shoulders to keep these guys healthy, get them back on the mound, be productive back end of the rotation pitchers.
Well, Willis, we saw very successful with Marlins, battled some injuries last year, some bouts with social anxiety disorder. But he seems to be locked in so far this spring, and that's a good sign for not only the team, but for Willis, too. Cervelli behind 0-2.
Cervelli's biggest adjustment this year going to be a full-time backup is how do you produce at the plate not playing every day. It's not an easy thing to do for any player, especially a young one. I think maybe Jorge Posada going to catch 5 games a week. Francisco Cervelli maybe 2. You really got to do a lot of work in the batting cage with Kevin Long to keep your swing where you want it to be. So when you get in a game, maybe you're not going to hit home runs, but if you can get a big hit, maybe with somebody on base, be a productive day.
And Oliver misses up high. Does it say anything to you about the fact that he was slow a little this spring with that concussion? He didn't have many at-bats coming into this game. He had 12, 7 of 12, but in the opportunities he got, he was able to do something.
Yeah, the real test is going to be later on when Jorge Posada is catching every day in spring training and you're getting that maybe 1 at-bat at the end of the game. But Kevin Long has done a great job with him offensively, using his legs more. And he carried what he did last year during the season in the big leagues. He's carried it here into spring training. Seems a lot more comfortable with it. But the toughest thing for a backup catcher, Bob, is you come to spring training and you play on a somewhat regular basis. Then the season starts and you go a week without getting any at-bats. And you kind of lose that good feeling you had in spring training.
And a swing and a miss for Cervelli, so goes down on strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. You know, I brought this up earlier with Cervelli. He fit in so well in that clubhouse, and there are a lot of guys who would come in at that age, quiet, don't say much, don't interact much, but as Kim pointed out, he's right there with Romulo Sanchez yesterday, very engaging. You don't see that out of young players that often, do you, when they get into that clubhouse?
No, you don't. But you know what? The Major League clubhouse has changed a lot over the years. And now when a guy like Cervelli comes up, he's embraced by the veteran players. I mean, CC Sabathia, A.J. Burnett, they kind of welcomed him with open arms. When I first got to the big leagues, the veterans would make you earn your stripes a little bit. So I think some of the veteran players in the Yankee clubhouse deserves credit.
And Hoffman breaks for second. And he's in there. Stolen base for Jamie Hoffman. And the Yankees a runner in scoring position here, bottom of the fourth.
Good jump from Hoffman. See, he goes first move. Right when Oliver lifts his leg, he gets a good jump. Gerald Laird, who threw out over 40% in the American League last year, led all catchers, gets a good throw off. Pretty accurate. Hoffman just had a nice jump.
Greg Golson a chance to knock him in now. Golson grounded to short, an error by Ramon Santiago. That was back in the bottom of the second inning.
Bob, you and I had a nice conversation with Gerald Laird in the dugout before the game, and very unusual. A catcher, he throws with 3 fingers on the baseball. It's almost like a pitcher throwing a changeup, and that's how he throws to second base, and obviously very successful, over 40% last year. I'd never heard that before. I read it and I said, you know what, I got to find out if this is true. And he said his fingers are so small that he's tried to throw with 2 fingers on the baseball, couldn't do it. It wasn't accurate, was losing a lot of throws left to right. So he tried the 3-finger grip on his fingertips, and it's worked out well for him.
And it does sound like a little thing, but for those of you watching, pick up a baseball, try throwing it with 3 fingers. It is completely different than with 2. Certainly works for him, though. And a swing and a miss by Golson, second out of the inning here in the bottom of the fourth.
See why the Tigers like Andy Oliver, an explosive fastball. Looks like he's going to be a little bit erratic. If he throws the ball over the plate, he's going to have some success.
Back to the top of the lineup, and Derek Jeter, his third at bat. He struck out looking on 3 pitches against Porcello, but then followed up with a single. What did you see the difference in those at bats against Porcello? Because it was something we wanted to keep an eye on.
Well, I think Derek, better than any other player in the league, goes the other way and stays inside of a sinking fastball. You see a lot of young players especially try to pull it. Derek never does. And I think he figured out Porcello after that first at bat. I'm going to see a lot of sinkers with movement down and in. Just stay inside and drive it the other way.
Oliver misses up high, 2-0 to Jeter.
You're listening to Derek around the batting cage today. He said he found something last night with his toe tap that he goes through. Sometimes it's just a feeling when you have a couple of productive at-bats and you say, oh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. And you look forward to the rest of spring training in the beginning of the year. It's all about timing for Derek.
And Oliver misses again. Did you notice it? You worked that game. He was 2 for 3, knocked in a couple runs.
Take a look at the toe tap. It just looked like everything last night was right on time. And you can see he taps a few times with that front foot. And his hands have some movement. It takes a few at-bats in spring training really to feel like you're comfortable with your timing. And Derek said he found it last night.
And Oliver misses on 4 pitches, so Jeter is aboard with a walk. 2 outs here, bottom of the fourth, and they've got runners at first and second, both on board by walk. Well, it was a banner year for Derek Jeter in so many ways last year, ultimately resulting in his 5th championship as a member of the Yankees. But he was named to the All-Star team again, or voted in as a starter by the fans. Wins the Hank Aaron Award, the Roberto Clemente Award, a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger. He passed Lou Gehrig for most hits in Yankees history. I mean, and at this point, Flash, the hits and the accolades and the records are just going to keep on coming for him.
It is going to be passing some special names, passing Lou Gehrig last year. Where do you put all that hardware?
Put it in the new wing of the house he's building.
I guess that house is pretty impressive from what I hear.
I think he gives most of the trophies to his parents, does he not? A lot of the stuff that he gets. All right, so Jeter aboard at first. It's Jamie Hoffman at second, and Nick Johnson trying to cash in and extend the Yankees lead. And looks at a fastball from Andy Oliver, who's over the 20-pitch mark so far this inning.
We talked about Alex Rodriguez, his last at bat, and a good gauge for him and where he is in spring training. Same thing with Nick Johnson here, facing a lefty. Nick uses the whole field, hits the ball the other way. See if he can do that against his lefty.
And takes a little something off and gets it across the outside part of the plate. So Nick Johnson at 1-2 now. Grounded to first his first couple times up. good eye. He gets a fastball just up across the letters.
If you're a left-handed pitcher and you pitch Nick Johnson inside, you're probably going to get him. I mean, he's looking for the ball out over the plate, try to drive it the other way. You don't see a lot of left-handed pitchers who like to throw the ball in on left-handed hitters. Gonna go away.
And misses away. And this is like a vintage Nick Johnson at bat, who's quickly behind 1-2, and suddenly he's working to a full count.
Now, you hate to throw Bobby Abreu's name out there, but you always felt that way with Abreu. You know, had some great years with the Yankees and get behind 0-2. The next thing you know, it's a full count. Either work a base hit or a walk. Nick Johnson is going to do a lot of the same things.
Well, the payoff pitcher with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. And it's not coming yet. Oliver trying to keep Jamie Hoffman in check at second base. Keep him a little closer anyway. Last 5 seasons, flash the numbers are always there. You just got to keep them on the field.
It's going to be the challenge for the training staff and Joe Girardi. Keep him healthy. He'll be productive.
And on 3-2, 2 outs, the runners go, and Johnson fouls one off into the stands and left.
You know, I think how he's going to adjust to that DH role is going to be a big deal for the Yankees. A very good first baseman, likes to be out there. Obviously, with Mark Teixeira, that's not going to be the case. Maybe give him a few days off. But Hideki Matsui really found that routine last year and how to be a productive DH. We'll see if Nick Johnson can do the same thing.
Now Teixeira's on deck, and he'd like to take a few swings against Oliver. We'll see if Johnson will accommodate him with either a hit or a walk. And fouls it away again. So Hoffman and Jeter getting loose on the base paths.
Little day game after a night game. Maybe Derek feeling it a little bit in the legs.
I think he's probably just saying, hey, Nick, no more foul balls. The 3-2 again, and Johnson another one down the third baseline, flaring foul.
Tell you what, he had a few good swings at some fastballs. Oliver decided to throw a slider, and Derek Jeter hands on the hips. Nice piece of hitting there by Nick Johnson just to foul off that tough slider and stay in the at-bat. Hope you get a mistake.
Well, Oliver has worked hard here in this 4th inning. 9th pitch of the at-bat against Nick Johnson. And Johnson fouls it off again.
Derek Jeter's going to call for a pinch runner. Maybe he's had enough. Hands on the hip, looking at Nick Johnson.
28 pitches this inning, and I have to think, if you're a pitcher, certainly, but even a catcher, you're like, come on, man, do something here.
Put in play.
Yeah.
If you're Oliver, you're saying, I'm giving you my best stuff. I mean, some quality sliders, Nick spoiling them.
The runner's going again on 3-2, and Johnson popping one up. And this one foul behind the plate and onto the screen. He doesn't look too winded yet. Yeah, he's like, get it out to the field. Somewhere in fair territory, please. Just a little direction. Put it out that way. And instead, Johnson draws the walk. An 11 pitch at bat, and Nick Johnson is finally aboard.
Derek Jeter says finally. Bob, can you think of a better spot to hit in any lineup in baseball? Number 2 behind Derek Jeter in front of Mark Teixeira if you're Nick Johnson. I mean, if you just stay healthy, you're going to get plenty of pitches to hit. That man is going to be on base a lot. It's going to score a lot of runs for you.
Well, we kind of joked about how he worked Oliver in that at bat, but if you're going 8, 9, 10 pitches, there's a visit to the mound. If you're doing that, doesn't that help Teixeira and A-Rod somewhere down the line where that pitcher could be frustrated, could make a mistake?
Fatigue will definitely set in, but like Alex Rodriguez is on deck here, you get to see everything that a pitcher like Oliver has. I mean, Nick Johnson fouled off fastball sliders, so if you're Mark Teixeira, kind of pay attention. How does it look like the tilt on the slider? You just have a little bit more information because of the at-bat of Nick Johnson.
So bases loaded for the Yankees here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Started off with a walk by Jamie Hoffman, 2 straight strikeouts of Cervelli and Golson, and then Jeter and Johnson have both drawn walks. And Mark Teixeira's up and looks at a first pitch fastball from Andy Oliver for a strike. Lifting one out to right center field, and that is Austin Jackson there to end the inning, but not before the Yankees give Andy Oliver and the Tigers a scare, loading the bases before they're able to slam the door. 4-1 Yanks.
Kyle!
What's up, Mom?
You went on a 29,000-mile joyride in my brand new BMW?
Mom, it's pre-owned.
But your father said it was new.
Yeah, new as in you didn't have it before.
Looks like new, performs like new. And with a warranty for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles, it's hard to believe it's pre-owned.
Wait till your father hears about this.
He knows all about it.
Take advantage of 0.9% financing until March 31st.
20 minutes after you quit smoking, your blood pressure decreases. After 2 days, your chance of heart attack drops. And 1 year after you quit, your risk of heart disease is cut in half. But right now, you're a heart attack waiting to happen. Every cigarette makes you sick. Quit smoking today. For help, call 311 or visit nyc.gov/nycquits.
The all-new 2011 Sonata should make you think Hyundai, but act now. Think Hyundai Assurance and America's best warranty. Think efficiency. Even with 200 horsepower, Sonata still gets a class-leading 35 miles per gallon. From Hyundai, America's most fuel-efficient automaker. Think savings. Lease the Sonata for just $199 a month. Don't just think about it. Act now at your Hyundai dealer. For a short time, lease the 2011 Hyundai Sonata for just $199 a month.
The Yankees are back, and YesNetwork.com is your source for in-depth coverage from spring training with daily video updates, interviews, blogs, and photo galleries. Plus, follow Yes Network on Twitter for the latest updates. YesNetwork.com, your Yankees spring training home.
We're back at Steinbrenner Field as we head to the top of the fifth, and the Yankees leading the Tigers 4-1, as always, joined by the manager now, Joe Girardi. We'll talk about CC Sabathia and his terrific outing in just a minute, but are you going to have to separate Derek Jeter and Nick Johnson? Derek was trying to get a message across to Nick. Would you please stop fouling the ball off in the last inning? That was a heck of an at-bat, but it looked like Jeter was getting a little worn out there on base.
Well, G can't get back at him because he's not at first, so he can't throw a low throw into the dirt and try to get him. But it's good for G. We got to get him in shape somehow, right?
Well, he's probably going to see a lot of that during the season anyway, as Brent Dlugac flies out to right for the first out of the inning. But it's interesting. I mean, he's going to see a lot of that. Nick Johnson, that was a terrific at-bat. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Nick really knows the strike zone, and he knows how to foul pitches off. And I think that's part of being a disciplined hitter. Some hitters just have the knack of fouling balls off. Balls that, you know, they don't necessarily, they're strikes, but they're not good pitches to hit, and they can just foul them off. I was never one of those guys.
I know how that feels, Joe. Let's talk about your starting pitcher. Gave up a run in the first inning, but has looked very sharp, has all 3 pitches going today.
Yeah, he really has. And you look at him, he has great downward angle today, and his sinker has been good. His changeup has been excellent. He's also elevated from time to time. He's pitched in to the right-handed hitters to keep him honest. He's looked really good.
Was Ramon Santiago, and Santiago a chopper back up the middle. Jeter Fields on to first. Second out of the inning.
I think he tried to hit Nick in the end of the dugout down there.
Hey, let's talk about, speaking of hit, let's talk about a big hit. And was that a home run earlier by Alex Rodriguez? Because the scoreboard out in left field obscured the landing area.
Yeah, I think it landed in the new dealership that's next door that they're working on. And you know, obviously, when you work on a construction site, your hard hats are on. Hopefully, it didn't hit someone in the arm or something.
Now, I know you don't put a ton of stock in the fact that, well, you said, oh, they got to Rick Porcello, but here's a guy who hadn't given up a run this spring. He is a terrific young pitcher, and your offense very patient with him, and after a quick first inning, they were able to cause some trouble scoring 3 runs in the second.
Yeah, he was pounding the strike zone down, and he's got a great sinker, as you talked about. And our guys made him get some balls up, and were patient on him. He kind of lost the strike zone, and then an error led to a couple runs, and we took advantage of it. And you know, he's got outstanding stuff, and he's got really a lot of poise for a young pitcher.
This is Austin Jackson as CC evens the count at 1-1. You're going to have kind of a busy day, aren't you? You've got a split squad. You're going to be on the road tonight, right?
Yeah, we have a busy 36 hours. Yeah, we'll go down, and we play Tampa at 7 tonight, and then we go play the Astros over in Kissimmee at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So, you know, the issue with going down to Port Charlotte tonight is I'm a little concerned about the traffic on 275 when we leave, and then when we enter the stadium, it's going to be close to game time. Hopefully we won't get caught in any long lines.
Who's going to run the show for you over there if you're not there on time?
I told K-Long he's in charge until we get there, and that's if we don't even get there. He's still in charge.
Putting him in charge, isn't that like letting the kid run around with scissors?
I think he'll enjoy it, and you know, he's got a lot of energy, and it's something I know that he can handle, but he'll have fun with it.
So you've got two of your 5th starters vying for that spot going tonight, Sergio Maitre, Chad Godin. When you get there, what are you going to look for from them?
Well, I mean, we're just going to look at them compete and the swings against them. I mean, the hitters will tell you a lot about a guy's stuff and how it is that day. And obviously, these starts now are really important. And, you know, they don't necessarily have a lot of time to, in a sense, not to have good starts at this point.
Well, you saw a nice breaking ball from the big fella to wrap things up. So, Joe, thanks for joining us. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck tonight, too. Safe travels to you. 4-1 Yankees now as we move along.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to...
Through 5 innings, CC Sabathia has been on top of his ball game today. 7 strikeouts, and we're going to take a look at each and every one. He's had a good fastball early on, able to throw it by some hitters, an outstanding slider down and in, always mixing in that changeup down and away. Another fastball jumping out of his hand, good slider, great block by Cervelli, and then you finish it up with a backdoor slider. 7 strikeouts through 5 for CC Sabathia.
Good work by him. The K by K usually brought to you by Michael K. We're giving him a break. He's got to rest the velvety pipes. Got to be ready for regular season. Everybody does, Flash. You know that.
But he just can't go a day game after a night game, all those things. You know, we got to give him a little break, ease him into shape.
There's Alex Rodriguez against a guy familiar to many Yankees fans, Phil Koch, but not familiar with the way he looks. We've talked about this, the long hair, the stash. Kind of a Starsky and Hutch vibe to take you back. May have seen him on Policewoman with Angie Dickinson. I'm not sure.
It's going way back. The number's not pretty so far in spring training for Phil.
Well, last time up, Alex hit an absolutely titanic home run to left center field. We showed you that while we were talking to Joe Girardi. And Koch misses with an off-speed pitch, 1-2.
No, it's always strange when you get traded from one club to another to face the team that traded you. Phil Koch coming back here to the Yankees, obviously seeing a lot of familiar faces, and I'm sure he's highly motivated to have a clean inning. A lot of emotions go into that, Bob. You know, oh, this team traded me away. You know, what didn't they like? But then you're excited that there was a team that wanted you, to trade it for you, to bring you in. And, you know, you want to make a good impression. It hasn't been a great spring training so far for Phil Koch, trying to get straightened out.
2-2 to Alex. And he gets one in on his hands and he fouls it away. And those are conversations that you get on the receiving end, right? When you get to that team, then make it known. We wanted you here. Kind of builds your confidence, right?
It does, but for a young player, and I went through it, you know, years ago. You get traded from the Red Sox to the Tigers, Phil, going from the Yankees to the Tigers. Your first thought is, why don't the Yankees want me?
And misses again, 3-2.
The good news is that you have a manager like Jim Leland who is great with young players. So you have a little conversation. We want you to be a big piece of our bullpen. We wanted you. And you start feeling better about your game.
Payoff to Alex, and a nice off-speed pitch outside part of the plate. And he gets Alex swinging for the first out of the inning.
A lot of managers don't like having young players on their team because they don't know what they're going to get out of them. Jim Leland, you know, We heard him talking about Porcello. You know, to have a 20-year-old kid at the major leagues, I mean, it's important that the manager makes him feel comfortable and protect him a little bit.
And I think that'll be the challenge for them this year. You know, they're going to have to up Rick Porcello's innings this year. 21, you got to protect that arm. But you see so many good things out of him.
When he threw about 170 innings last year, you would expect him just to go out there this year with no restrictions. Stays healthy, looking for over 200 innings.
Robinson Cano has doubled and scored. Also grounded out to first, and he grounds one off his, looks like his ankle there. Foul.
A little advantage here for Phil Koch, able to see Robinson Cano and his at-bats against left-handers last year, and Phil ran a fastball in on his hands. Looked like he fouled off his foot. If you're a lefty trying to get Robinson out, that's where you have to at least show him some fastballs inside so you can get him away. See Laird setting up inside, in on his hands, fouls it right off his right foot. Looks like he has a protector. It's on his calf. That one looked like it hit a little bit below. Robinson so good with that ball out over the plate, hitting it the other way against left-handed pitching.
And Koch misses. 2-1. We talked earlier about Robbie, and I asked, you know, can he ever be that patient hitter they want him to be? You said maybe not, but maybe there's an advantage to being aggressive as long as you have a good eye. You know, pitchers know they can't get away with much because you might be swinging first or second pitch.
You know what it is, Bob? As long as you have a good game plan, like let's just go through this at bat right here. You come up, you face a lefty and Phil Koch, and if Robinson Cano just says, you know what, I'm going to give him the inside part of the plate, but if he throws anything away, I'm going to attack it. I think that's what Kevin Long is going to be looking for from Robbie.
And a swing and a miss, and the count is full.
Because I don't think you could ever take his aggressiveness away and have him kind of sit back on his heels, take pitches. I don't think it's in his nature to do that, but you can kind of just give him a little bit more of a focus or game plan on what you want to look for, and if you get it, you're going to do some damage.
And he fouls one away. And if you do that, you change your approach. I mean, you might put yourself in some bad counts, right?
You have to have the confidence that you can get behind in the count and not panic. That's what I was always amazed at, those veteran hitters who would go up there and they would take pitch after pitch because it wasn't what they were looking for, even if it was a strike. But when they got what they were looking for, they made you pay for it.
Robinson Cano lifting one out to left center field. Ramirez there. There's 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 5th. You know, the Tigers bullpen is interesting. They've always been something of a force in the American League Central, at least in the game for that division title or the wild card in the American League. As Marcus Tim steps in, he struck out twice, swinging both times. They've always had some great options in the bullpen. Some guys have come, some have gone. They've got Jose Valverde in this year. Phil Koch could fill a spot. They've also had guys injured. Joel Zumaya, for example, a guy who could hit 100 on the gun, but they got to keep him healthy. And so it's always been kind of this work in progress.
Well, I think Valverde at the end closing games is going to be huge for the Tigers this year.
And Tim's to short, the backhand by Santiago, and on to first. So a 1-2-3 inning for Phil Koch, and we head to the top half of the 6th innings. The Yankees leading at 4-1. Scoreboard shows the Yankees on top of the Tigers 4-1 as we head to the top half of the 6th inning, and it will be another half inning of work for CC Sabathia, who has been beyond efficient so far and effective in this game.
This is his 60th pitch of the afternoon there. Now into the 6th inning. Dave Island said he would have been happy with 5 innings, 75, 80 pitches. He's got to be very happy with what he has seen.
Well, this is Cleet Thomas. He's doubled and scored, and he's singled as well. So he's about the only guy really to get this Sabathia, if you want to call it that, because he's been so good. You took us through those strikeouts. And again, the off-speed pitches, he's been able to set guys up with that fastball, which has been crackling all day, and then just set them down with something off speed.
Yeah, if you look at a guy like CC and what you wanted to see today was location, probably velocity picking up a little bit, which it has. It's been able to work both sides. The secondary pitches, the slider and the changeup, have been outstanding. Can't ask for anything more. And this is the point where you really pay attention when that pitch count gets close to where you want to get to. And you wonder if his legs maybe get a little bit fatigued. You have to fight through it a little bit here in the 6th inning. Spring training's all about the starting pitching.
And a breaking ball to Thomas, 3-1. You mentioned this off the top. A little bit of a slow start for him last year. We wondered if maybe it was the cold weather, that kind of thing. But on a warm day like today, about 72 degrees, sunny, maybe the body's loosened up a little bit, the muscles. And, you know, I'm not saying that has a lot to do with today's outing, but it might have a little something to do with it. And Clete Thomas draws a leadoff walk here in the top half of the 6th.
Take a look at CC Sabathia and his motion on the yes mo. See, staying tall on that backside. Maybe the stride a little bit long there. Takes a little bit for that arm to catch up. Kind of missed up and in to Clete Thomas. Nice shot on the yes mo.
Now, clearly at some point during the season we have to do that when Mariano Rivera's on the mound.
Of course.
Would that make it the Momo? Well, Brandon Inge has singled and grounded to second. A hot shot to Robbie Cano, who's able to stop it. That came back in the bottom half of the 3rd, and CC's been so good from there.
Brandon Inge, 27 home runs last year, 84 RBIs, made the All-Star team. You know, Bob, when he came up, he was known as a catch and throw guy, not much of a hitter. I never would have imagined that he would have turned into a power hitter. 27 home runs last year and playing third base. He was such a good catch and throw receiver behind the plate. Obviously, again, a tremendous athlete, being able to go to third base.
And Sabathia misses up high. You mentioned if fatigue is factoring in, maybe it changes the mechanics just a little bit. You get tired, you get a little quick maybe.
Yeah, you're seeing some pitches up. I mean, the fastball to Clete Thomas was up and in that he missed with. That fastball right there to Inge was up, and sometimes that'll just give you a little clue that the legs are burning a little bit. You have to fight through it.
And a nice little block by Cervelli.
Can't do it any better than Francisco Cervelli. What you love is watch the wide base behind the plate. Get your chest protector in front. Nice angle closing down that right shoulder to deaden the baseball.
This is Inge on 2-2. Thomas is aboard at first, and a little chopper to the left side, and it's foul. So you've got to figure this inning certainly more so than any others. He came in with 59 pitches into this inning. They're keeping a close eye on what CC's doing right now, trying to get a feel for that. Maybe got somebody up in the pen right now.
Yeah, they've seen everything that they wanted to see from CC, and Albaladejo is going to get loose. But you also want to see him fight through this fatigue a little bit. I mean, that's what spring training's all about, getting the pitch count up for the starting pitcher.
And misses on 2-2. Well, a double play ball could change a lot of things, the dynamic of this right now.
Well, early in the ball game, CC Sabathia was not afraid to throw 3-2 changeups and had some swings and misses on that pitch. We'll see if he comes back with it.
Nice pitch outside part of the plate. He gets Inge to go fishing.
It was the changeup, 86 miles an hour. And a fastball inside, and he follows up with a 3-2 changeup. Located perfectly down and away. You can see Inge is fooled on the speed. Cervelli loves it.
It's Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera so far has struck out swinging a couple times.
watch Cabrera set up, Bob, he's so far away from home plate. As a catcher, you really don't know where to go. I mean, look at, he's way back in the box. I feel like you have to pitch him away because he's so far from home plate, but he still covers it.
And Sabathia missing outside.
You're almost afraid to go inside because there's so much room.
Is that a little deceptive for some umpires if you're hitting that outside corner but a guy's that far off the plate? Maybe there's kind of an optical illusion almost.
Yeah, it can be. And you see the home plate umpire, Andy Fletcher, setting up over Cervelli's left shoulder, so he's going to have a tough time seeing the pitch away.
And Sabathia is 3-0 to Cabrera. So you talk about fighting through something. He's doing that right now.
Yeah, and you got to be careful here. 3-0. I'm sure Cabrera will have the green light if he feels like he wants to turn it loose. But I watch him hit, I think, of Harold Baines, who was always far off the plate, and you wanted to pitch him away, and he would dive out there and crush you the other way.
And a strike by Sabathia, 3-1. And another strike. Good fastball, 93 miles an hour. So we're still dialing it up a little bit here in the top of the sixth.
Wonder if he'll just come back with that fastball on the 3-2 count. He had such a good one on the 3-1 count. You know, sometimes when a hitter takes a fastball like that and the good hitters count, you start thinking, well, he must be looking for an off-speed pitch. Come back with that good fastball, see if you can beat him again. Now they're going to go with the changeup, it looks like.
And just missed with that one. So successful in the last at bat against Inge, not so against Cabrera. That's 2 walks, and that'll send Dave Island to the mound.
78 pitches, Dave Island said before the game, 75 to 80, and he just gave the signal for a new pitcher.
All right, so we'll step aside here for just a moment. Sabathia's afternoon is done. Dave Island about to make a change.
A good reputation is...
Well, CC Sabathia, terrific afternoon. How do you rate it overall, Flash?
Well, I think CC and more importantly the Yankee coaches and manager Joe Girardi have to be ecstatic. I mean, the 2 walks just came here in the 6th inning when fatigue was clearly a factor. The Yankees have to be very happy.
The runners at first and second are Sabathia's responsibility. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. The pinch runner at first for Miguel Cabrera is Raleigh Bishop, and the new pitcher for the Yankees is Jonathan Albaladejo. Now you see what he did in 2009. So far, spring 2010, really trying to find himself. One of the guys out of the pen that's probably struggled the most.
Yeah, and what we've seen from him early on, he's kind of flying open a little bit with his front shoulder, and that sinker is flat going across and not down. Kind of like that pitch. Guillen had a good swing.
Guillen 0 for 2. Fly out and a strikeout. 1 of 8 strikeouts by Sabathia.
That's where Cervelli's setting up down and away. It ends up middle. And that's what we've seen from Albaladejo. A lot of side to side instead of movement down in the zone. And he's paid the price because of it.
And that's a sign of what? Mechanic?
It's totally mechanical. And, you know, Dave Island, the pitching coach, talked before the game. These guys are amped up, maybe trying to do a little bit too much, flying out with that front shoulder.
Fouled away.
Anticipating Mariano Rivera pitching in this ball game, and thought he might have come in after CC Sabathia, but the Yankees want him to start an inning, a clean inning. So Albaladejo will probably try to finish up here in the 6th, and then we look forward to Mariano probably in the 7th.
One and 2 to Guillen. A fastball inside just misses. Well, these are the numbers. He's thrown a total of 2 innings, giving up 15 hits. And I don't know if this is a fair comparison. I talked to you earlier about Sabathia being able to kind of make in-game adjustments. If he's still getting the slider up and it's the sinker up and it's not sinking, is he not making the right adjustments?
Well, I'm sure he's working on it. The problem is you get in a game, it's tough to correct.
Well, that's out to left field. Marcus Timms racing over, and that'll drop in and get by Timms a little bit as it knocks around in the corner. Cleet Thomas will come in to score. The runners advance to second and third, so the Tigers get one there off Albaladejo. It'll be charged to Sabathia, and they're back within 2. It's 4-2.
The struggles continue for Albaladejo. Again, we're going to take a look at the location. Pretty much up middle of the plate. Again, a tough hitter does not try to pull it, just goes the other way, and it gets away from Marcus Timms. Does not do a good job getting in front and getting it in. Tigers in business here, second and third, only 1 out.
Well, we talked earlier about Jim Leland wanting to see results offensively out of Gerald Laird, so this would be a good spot for him to really open Leland's eyes a little more to that.
Jim Leland really didn't pull any punches about it either. He said, listen, he's a great defensive guy, but we need some more production. We don't need a lot from our catcher, but we need a little bit more than he's given us last year.
Gets a fastball across, but an 89-mile-an-hour one. Again, runners at second and third here, top of the 6th, and 1 out. Laird is already singled. That came back in the top half of the 4th inning.
Great at bat here. If you're Gerald Laird, just hit a ground ball up the middle, you're going to have an RBI. Think middle of the field.
A breaking ball there, but again up.
It's a mistake, and Albaladejo got away with it. I'm sure Laird in his head is saying, boy, I could have hit this one a long way. Look, it's a flat slider up in the zone. Call that a cement mixer. Albaladejo got away with it.
So 1 and 2. He can help himself in a big way by getting it out on Laird here. Breaking ball again, 71 miles an hour, and he's able to get it.
A good adjustment there from pitch to pitch. He threw a real bad slider that Laird swung through, and then he takes a little bit off, more 12-6, and picks up the strikeout.
Now, the obvious question, I think, because you brought this up, is why do you call it a cement mixer? Where did that come from?
Because it just spins in the middle of the plate. A slider that hangs like that, it just, like a cement mixer, just spins. And he made a nice adjustment there. Got on top of a breaking ball. Better pitch.
Nice one there, too, outside part of the plate against Wilkin Ramirez. Ramirez is grounded to short. He struck out swinging in the second at bat.
So Bobby talked about it. You know, he knows what he's doing wrong. Can't you fix it? Well, you work on it on the side, and it's probably pretty good because you don't have a hitter in there. And then you get on the mound in a game and you start competing. Game speeds up a little bit. Tough to slow down and kind of trust that if I keep my front side closed, everything after that's going to fall into place. You try to add on a little velocity and things get away from you.
Well, he can get out of a big spot here. Second and third for the Tigers, 2 outs in the top of the 6th. And a breaking ball to Wilkin Ramirez. He fouls it off. You know, for a guy searching for something, can you gain confidence from that one at bat, Gerald Laird? And you know, you threw a breaking ball you know you got away with, and then you came back with a real good one.
Yeah, I think the confidence comes from making that adjustment. Cervelli trying to go out and have a little talk to get him through this inning.
He's in a good spot. 1 and 2, 2 outs. And another breaking ball. Hard hit to short, but Jeter's up with it. On first, nice little dig by Teixeira, and that will do it. So Albaladejo gives up a run, charge to Sabathia, but the Yankees still on top 4-2.
When Motor Trend says you're good, you're good. But when they name the Ford Fusion 2010 Car of the Year, that means there is nothing better. Except maybe getting 0% financing or $2,000 cash back during the Leadership Sales Drive. That's 0% financing or $2,000 cash. Plus, with up to 34 miles per gallon, Fusion gets better gas mileage than both Camry and Acura. Or you can lease for only $189 a month.
Wire Irish American Good Guy Awards. Flash, tell me about your day there.
We had a great day at Gallagher's Steakhouse, and They were nice enough to give Dave Maloney, ex-Ranger, and myself the Good Guy Award, which, I joked I tricked 5 organizations as a player, and I tricked this organization into thinking I'm a good guy. But we had a great day, and a great memory of John Halligan and Dick McGuire, who John Halligan was a PR man for the New York Rangers for years, and Dick McGuire, a Knicks legend, and had a nice afternoon remembering them, and I was honored to get that award.
Well, there are a million ways I could go with this joking, but congratulations.
Don't do what Michael Kay would do in this situation. Just appreciate it.
Well, this is Jose Valverde in, and Janie Hoffman lifts one out the left. Good play there by Ramirez to make the play in the first out here in the top half of the 6th.
See Ramirez coming in, making a nice play. Hoffman has a few walks today and hit that ball hard to left field, trying to open up some eyes, being a Rule 5 draft pick.
So Francisco Cervelli steps up. It's been quite a week for you. You pick up the Sports Good Guy Award. St. Patrick's Day this week.
A busy week. We have the St. Patrick's Day Parade coming up Sunday in Pearl River, New York. And congratulations to my daughter, Kristen, who will be marching in that parade as part of the Patriot cheerleading squad that finished 2nd in the country at Disney this offseason. So congratulations, girls. Have a good time Sunday. I will be home to watch and cheer you on.
And I am told that Kristen will be marching in one of the most famous and best St. Patrick's Day parades around. Is that correct?
You know what? I grew up as a kid going to New York City and enjoying the St. Patrick's Day Parade, but the town of Pearl River puts on a big parade, a great day. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, and the Patriot cheerleaders will be able to enjoy their day in the sun. It'll be a nice time for them.
Very nice. Is that the slogan for Pearl River? Does it right.
Well, you know what? The slogan for the town of Pearl River is actually the town of friendly people. I don't know if it's the town of good guys, but it's a town of friendly people.
Is that sign posted in your front yard? I would think it is at the Flaherty household.
Michael Kay does not fit in Pearl River. We don't welcome him to the parade.
You know, I never have to say one thing about Michael because you usually say it all. Well, Francisco Cervelli has been aboard once in this game. Struck out as well, swinging. That was back in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And again, I just mentioned his name, Jose Valverde, one of their free agent signings. So Jim Leland and his guys getting a good look at Valverde right now. Kind of an interesting arm motion, too. You saw him kind of standing up at the end of that. Didn't really finish his pitch, but watch his arm on the way back when he throws.
Yeah, he's interesting mechanics, especially the way he sets up with the kind of the ball and the glove away from his body. But he's just got electric stuff. You can see he sets up with a split finger grip. That glove high, arm away from the body.
And Cervelli can't hold up, so he's down swinging for the 2nd time in this game.
It's amazing when you bring in a quality closer like Valverde from the Astros. Everything else in your bullpen just kind of falls into place. Power fastball, a good slider, outstanding split.
Some defensive changes behind Valverde. Raleigh Bishop, who came in for Miguel Cabrera, stays at first. Brent Lugach, who was at 2nd, goes to 3rd. And a couple other ones that we'll tell you about as Greg Golson knocks one into left center field, and he's aboard with a base hit.
Golson on first base with 2 outs, has a lot of speed. See if he gets the green light, trying to get himself in scoring position.
But once again, the changes. Lugach moves over to 3rd at St. Pierre behind the plate. Now Rhymes at 2nd, moving in there for Lugach, who moved over, and then Valverde, of course, on the mound. I'm going to check the name on Rhymes at 2nd. I don't believe that's Busta Rhymes. Stand by. No, it's not. It's Will Rhymes.
A young player like Golson, as you see the great Mariano Rivera warming up, looks like he's going to work the top of the 7th inning. Golson at first base, and he's known for his speed. You'd love to see him get the green light here, try to get in scoring position for Derek Jeter with 2 outs.
Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. You know, what's interesting, mentioned the signing by Valverde. Spent a nice chunk of money on him, 2-year deal, and we go back to what we were talking about earlier. They've produced a lot of great young arms out of their farm system. Or a guy like Nate Robertson, who last year spent some time in the pen. It's kind of been their own guys. They went outside to go get a nice big power arm this time.
Well, a guy has proven that he can do it. I mean, you can have some power arms, but haven't proven that they can close games. We also talked a little bit today, Bob. You know how different it is now with baseball? I mean, Valverde, they back these closers up in spring training. They don't throw them at the beginning. We've seen the Yankees and Joe Girardi do it with Mariano Rivera. They kind of limit their innings in spring training in the thought that you're going to keep them fresh all the way through the year. I think maybe 7 appearances in spring, and they're pretty much ready to go.
And you're talking 7 appearances, probably 7 innings, right? Is that all as Jeter grounds one softly foul?
I mean, years ago, you used to come in as a relief pitcher, and you were pitching right from the first day, the first game, and maybe 14, 15 innings. Times have changed, and I guess they have a lot. It's documented how much time a guy needs in spring training to be ready.
You're saying they've crunched some numbers.
They have.
Thrown some data around.
It's not old school anymore. It's a new age.
Golson breaks for second, and Jeter cues one foul along the first baseline. You know, we talk about it from a viewing standpoint. This is where the games start to get more fun. The stars stay in the game longer. They get their at-bats. How do the players view it? How does Derek Jeter view it? You know, stepping up for the 4th time in this game.
You know, and he felt so good about his at-bats last night. I'm sure he's enjoying getting his 4th one today. But I think more importantly, the night game last night, then you come back today, a day game. You just want to get your legs underneath you. But I also mentioned that these are the dog days, you know, where you're excited when the games start. And then you get to the middle of the month and you're like, boy, I just want to get out of Florida, get to where the games really count. So mentally, you really got to stay focused, try not to give away the at-bats, concentrate on what you're doing at the plate, and try to find that good swing.
Jeter on 2-2. And he checks Golson over at first. Mo getting ready to go here in the top half of the 7th.
Having a conversation with Scott Aldred, the AAA pitching coach. You wonder if a AAA pitching coach can pick something up about that cutter. They're just showing grips there. Scott, a good left-handed pitcher in his day, pitched for the Tigers, pitched for the Rays. Trying to pick Mariano Rivera's brain.
So 3-2 count to Jeter. Golson's on first here, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Golson breaks and Jeter grounds one foul again. So Jeter kind of doing to Golson what Nick Johnson did to Jeter earlier in the game when he was on first.
A little payback, but you see Valverde, he's got that good split finger fastball and he throws it on a 3-2 count. Derek does a nice job of hitting, spoiling it. Throws hard, has 3 quality pitches.
Jeter again wraps one into right center field, racing over. Nice work by Austin Jackson. When they talk about the plus tools that he has, that's one of them. Speed and getting to the ball. So Jackson taking away an extra base hit to end the inning. Coming up next, we've seen Yes Mo. Coming up next, it's Momo.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions. Come out to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. Don't miss calendar weekend on Saturday, April 17th and Sunday, April 18th when the Yankees play the Rangers. All fans in attendance at either game will receive a 2010 Yankees calendar, courtesy of Subway. In 2010, come home to Yankee Stadium, the home of champions.
With the Verizon Fios multi-room DVR, whatever you record here, you can watch in up to 6 different rooms. If you record hockey, you can watch it in the basement.
Yes.
Snowboarding in the bedroom?
Yes.
Or ice dancing in the kitchen?
Yes.
I'm not sure why I said yes. That was weird.
Record all your favorite shows in one room and watch them in up to 6 others with the Fios multi-room DVR. This is beyond cable. This is Fios.
The Laurel is a reward for achievement. Reward yourself at the Cadillac Laurel event with a CTS sports sedan. Visit soon, because while there is no expiration date on achievement, on rewarding it, there is.
Qualified current lessees visit CadillacTristate.com.
The Sunday Daily News is celebrating modern Yankee heroes with great commemorative magazines. Each Sunday, get a big, full-color magazine of a Yankee hero, packed with extraordinary action shots, career highlights, and stats, plus a player poster. This Sunday, get Dandy Andy Pettit, yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
Well, we are back, and we are getting our second spring look at Mariano Rivera. Mo out on the mound warming up. Came out to a very warm and loud reception from the fans here at Steinbrenner Field. 4-2 Yankees lead it as we head to the top half of the 7th inning. Well, this is what he did last season, and of course, some people saying that he had one of his finest seasons, if not the finest season ever. It resulted in a 27th World Championship. And it's always electric when Mo comes in, even in the 7th inning, which I know it's a spring game and I know why they do this, but it's always kind of funny to see him in the 7th, not the 9th.
Yeah, it's a different feeling. You know, I heard somebody to say, oh, they want to get Mariano in there to face like real major league hitters. It doesn't matter at this point for Mariano Rivera. You come in, you get your work done. Expect to see that good location, the good cutter, and sometimes Mariano will surprise you in spring training, throw some change-ups. Maybe some sliders, things we usually don't see during the year.
And there's a strike to Brent Lugach, who moved to third base. He struck out, flew out to right field. Is it different for guys, let's say a guy like Brent Lugach who steps in and suddenly realizes he's facing Mariano Rivera?
Well, you know, you get excited about it. You know, even if it doesn't work out, you can say, I faced the great Mariano Rivera, and, you know, whether it works out or not, you can tell your grandkids. And you see his cutter on TV all the time, but you want to experience what it's really like. And being a guy who struck out against Mariano a bunch of times, I mean, he's just got that real easy life, almost lulls you to sleep at the plate, and then the ball's by you.
And just misses outside, 2-2.
And a new catcher in there too, Mike Rivera. I'm sure a big thrill for him catching Mariano Rivera.
Rivera to Rivera. What you saying?
That's it.
And fouled away.
The one thing that Mariano Rivera can do if you're catching, he makes you look good back there because he throws the ball right where you want it. I mean, he's so easy to catch. You set your glove up on the outside corner. You don't even have to move it. And one thing, you just want to make sure you're not completely relaxed back there because he can surprise you.
And there it is, strike 3 against Lugach. So Mo looking very good there. He's looked good for a very long time. 526 career saves, second only to Trevor Hoffman. Has the 5 rings, the 10 All-Star nods. And beyond what he does in the regular season, because it's so important, it's what he does in the postseason. When you talk about guys handling pressure, being in the big moment, that's exactly what Mo has delivered for them for years.
Well, that's a difference, and we saw it last year in the postseason, right? I mean, a bunch of closers having a tough time. postseason games. Joe Nathan, Brad Lidge, Mariano Rivera, steady.
And a ground ball to the right side off the bat of Santiago. And over to first for the second out of the inning. Again, a lot of defensive changes for the Yankees, which we will detail for you as we go along here. Pinch hitter coming up, Deke Scram for the Tigers, number 25. Taking over for Austin Jackson.
So far, so good for Mariano. Looks like he's got some good action on the cutter. Location is what we're used to seeing.
You know, you threw some of the names of other top shelf relievers from last year, Nathan, Lidge, and the one thing you have to mention with Mariano too, the way he takes care of himself, his health. Because Nathan, we're seeing, is having the elbow problems, probably going to need surgery. Shattered bat over to second base, and that is going to do it for Mariano. But his health is key, and his performance in pitching like that is key. 10 pitches to get through the top half of the seventh as the Yankees lead at 4-2.
So now you can get a great deal on any Volkswagen.
Green one.
Oh, like our award-winning CC.
White one.
Or the fuel-efficient Jetta.
Ooh, red one.
Or the Tiguan.
Black one. Oh, 2 for flinching.
Plus, every Volkswagen includes no-charge scheduled carefree maintenance.
Silver one.
Oh.
On any Volkswagen?
Yeah.
With great deals on all 13 models,
White one.
It's a whole new Volkswagen and a whole new game.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to offer great value. Judges, who will you believe?
We're the biggest value in entertainment.
We offer the same TV as DirecTV for less.
Does the same include channels like AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, FX?
Not in our basic package like yours.
Judges?
In your face. In your face.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned.
20 minutes after you quit smoking, your blood pressure decreases. After 2 days, your chance of heart attack drops. And 1 year after you quit, your risk of heart disease is cut in half. But right now, you're a heart attack waiting to happen. Every cigarette makes you sick. Quit smoking today. For help, call 311 or visit nyc.gov/nycquits.
At Kia, we're proud to have gone where no other car company has gone before. The Kia Forte offers impressive standard horsepower with fuel efficiency, class-leading space, class-leading standard advanced technology, and class-leading standard safety features. All backed by an industry-leading warranty. When you add it all up, the Kia Forte is the obvious choice over the Corolla and Civic. And right now, we're offering 0% APR financing.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Verizon Wireless. By your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Visit tristatevw.com. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Just got through the 7th inning stretch here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees leading the Tigers 4-2 as we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. And this is a pinch hitter for the DH, Nick Johnson, John Weber. And Weber was good wood on that one. And over the head of the center fielder, off his glove, Weber is into second. And this is the second time you and I have seen this. Weber taking over for Johnson in that DH spot, continuing to hit almost a la Nick Johnson.
You know, I mentioned last night, he looks like almost a slow pitch softball hitter, just standing up there tall. And first pitch hacking, gets a good fastball out over the plate, nice extension. Maybe got a little Matt Stairs in him in that swing. See Scram makes a good bid right off his glove. But there are some hitters when they walk up there and you don't even see the practice swing, but you're like, you know what, this guy looks like he can hit, and that's what Weber looks like.
So we mentioned some wholesale changes for the Yankees in the last inning. Cody Satterwhite is the pitcher for the Tigers, and he's pitching to David Winfrey. First pitch swinging from Winfrey. shattered bat, one hop to short. And on to first. Weber's got to stay put at second. Well, next Sunday, get a season preview with Yankees 2010 Pride, Power, and Pinstripes. Hear the latest plans for manager Joe Girardi, plus exclusive interviews, including new Yankee Curtis Granderson, and analysis from the Yes Network team. Yankees 2010 premieres next Sunday at 4 o'clock, only on Yes. Mike Rivera now catching. Has taken the place of Alex Rodriguez, at least in the lineup.
I guess Rivera would be third on the depth chart right now if something happened to Francisco Cervelli.
Weber. Big stretch off second there with the ball getting away a little bit, but decides to stay put.
It's good for the Yankees. They have a bunch of catching prospects in the minor leagues. Austin Romine, Montero. But with Rivera, you have a solid veteran guy. He's been in the big leagues before. A little bit of pop in his bat.
And looks at that fastball. It's kind of a half swing, 2-1. John Weber's on second, leadoff double for him. And a ball lifted foul along the first base side and into the stands.
See a lot of organizations, Bob, bringing in these veteran guys, and if there's an injury at the big league level, you have somebody you can count on. If not, they go down to AAA, and not bad if you have young pitchers in AAA. Have somebody like Rivera work with them, try to the art of pitching a ball game, calling a ball game.
And Satterwhite misses 2-2, so a full count for Mike Rivera. And depth at catcher was something the Yankees just a few years back didn't have, but they drafted well with Romine and Montero, and it's great to have if you need a call-up. It's great to have mid-season if you feel like you have a couple chips or a chip that you need to go out and get a player for the major league roster in a trade. Those guys are always possibilities, so you can either help yourself now if that's the case, or you're just building for the future.
Well, we saw last year Jorge Posada goes down, Jose Molina goes down, Francisco Cervelli was in Double-A and not hitting very well. He ends up getting called up to the big leagues, so you can never have enough catching in your minor league system. We saw Romine last night. Austin Romine, really impressed with him behind the plate.
Rivera fouls another one. What'd you like most about the way you saw him catch the game?
You know what, just the way he set up behind the plate, it looked like his hands really worked well, and he threw out Leonard Navarro, which you say, well, he's a catcher, he doesn't run that well, but I wasn't paying attention to the runner, I was paying attention to the mechanics throwing. I mean, real quick, strong, accurate throw. And Tony Peña's been raving about some of the young catchers in camp. We saw a little bit of it last night.
Well, just barely grazes Rivera on 3-2, so he's aboard.
Take a look here at this fastball from Satterwhite. It just gets away from him a little bit. Looks like it grazed the jersey of Mike Rivera.
It's probably not the pitch you expect on 3-2. Rivera's on first. John Weber, you see him on second. He's aboard with the leadoff double, and this is P.J. Pilater. Penciled into the spot of Robinson Cano, the 5 spot. First pitch swinging, base hit to left. And they're going to hold him. Ball hit so hard it got out there quickly to the outfield, and Pilater's aboard with a single, but he won't get the RBI. It's bases loaded.
Well, good call by third base coach Robbie Thompson holding up Weber, and we've seen from Robbie Thompson coaching third, he likes to be aggressive in the third base coaching box. Pilater gets a first pitch fastball, drills it to left field. But you'll see here that Weber at third base, a good call holding him up by Robbie Thompson, the third base coach.
And with the bases loaded here, bottom of the 7th, that'll bring Kevin Russo to the plate. first pitch swinging. So Satterwhite, you know, they're going after his first pitch.
Like those numbers in 90 games at AAA Scranton last year, 326. It's fun when you come down here, Bob, in spring training and you see some of these young players and they get it to the end of these big league games, and there's some players that kind of step or stand out. Russo is one of those guys for me. It's like the way his approach at the plate. It looks like it's just a real simple, direct swing. It looks like he has a chance to be a pretty good player.
Well, the Yankees lead it by 2, 4-2 right now, but that could change in a hurry if Russo can get a base hit. And looks like, well, he hit it hard, but it's out to the left fielder. Thompson has the runner tag and score. So Weber is in with the 5th run of the ball game for the Yankees. Russo hits the ball hard and gets an RBI out of it.
He's one of those players, every time you see him play late in the ball game or occasionally get a start, he does some things that you really like and help you win. Gets a fastball from Satterwhite, middle of the plate in, and just a simple swing, good situational hitting. Drops his hands, pulls them inside, picks up a sac fly and an RBI.
5-2 Yanks, thanks to Kevin Russo and Jamie Hoffman now. Hoffman's walked a couple times, scored a run. Lined out to left field. The ball gets away from St. Pierre, so the runners will advance. While we've seen changes, Hoffman obviously staying in the game. Joe Girardi wants to get as many looks at him as he can at the plate. Got to make a decision on him here. Again, Rule 5. He was the pick from the Washington Nationals in the Brian Bruni trade. They picked Hoffman for them and then gave him to the Yankees. But if he doesn't stay on the 25-man roster, then he has to be offered back to the Dodgers.
You know, good opportunity for Joe Girardi and the staff to get a look at him with a split squad going on today. Yankees will play tonight in Port Charlotte against the Rays. Gets a few at bats to try to impress the coaching staff, and I guess more importantly, Brian Cashman in the front office. I talked about it earlier, though, Bob. I mean, the Yankees traditionally not a team that you would have a Rule 5 pick that you know, I'm not saying you're hiding them on your ball club. Usually you see the Rule 5s go to some second division clubs. Well, the Yankees taking a chance here with Hoffman and see what they're going to get out of him.
Count even at 2, 2 outs, and runners at second and third. And Hoffman inside. Satterwhite's had a couple of those inside. Hit Rivera, grazed him. Now in on Hoffman.
Yeah, this is what you usually see from a young pitcher. Good arm, but maybe a little bit erratic. Looks like he rushes a little bit mechanically, gets underneath the ball, and you've seen some pitches up and in on the right-handed batters.
3-2 to Hoffman. And fouled away. Another 3-2 pitch to Hoffman. And misses high. So Hoffman has showed a good eye, if nothing else, today. He's walked 3 times in this game. And he's aboard here in the bottom of the 7th.
St. Pierre going to go out and have a little conversation. His manager Jim Leland looking on. Find out a lot about these young players late in ball games. Watch them throw in the bullpen. You like their stuff, but how are they going to react in the big league spring training game?
Well, Jorge Vasquez follows Hoffman. Bases loaded. And smashed to third base. Good play there by DeLugic, and that ends the inning for the Tigers. Yankees threaten. They get a run. It's 5-2 as we head to the top of the 8th.
It's one of the best mid-size sports sedans in the world. If it's not, there are over 50 international awards we'd better give back. The Jaguar XF, the critically acclaimed result of a very different way of thinking.
Lease a 2010 XF for $599 at your tri-state area Jaguar dealer.
Millionaire Theater presents...
As soon as our sister returns with the newt's toes, our love potion will be complete.
Your plot to cast a spell on me won't work. I'll never fall in love and marry one of you, sisters.
Sisters, I just won $1 million. And I spent it all on cosmetic surgery.
Hoochie mama, look at those ankles.
Become a March millionaire. Play $1 Million Match or one of many New York Lottery instant games offering $1 million or more.
I'm a stronger person. I'm braver. I doubt myself less.
You get out there and you push yourself. The endurance that's taught me affected all the different aspects of my life.
My favorite thing to do is to run in the rain. And then I come home and my kids are like, Mom, you go.
I run to make myself feel alive.
I love Jackrabbit because everybody in the store knows what they're doing.
They will spend time with you.
They took me seriously and made me feel like an athlete.
As long as you can walk, you can run. I love Jackrabbit. I love it.
For 500 years, Koreans have been practicing a unique heat therapy. This historical therapy was revealed by the 12 different types of saunas to release your daily fatigues and to restore yourself. Refresh your body and mind with the heat of a 500-year-old tradition. King Spa and Fitness.
Well, fans come home to Yankee Stadium in 2010 to see the 27-time world champion New York Yankees in action. On Friday, April 16th, it's magnetic schedule night when the Yankees take on the Rangers. All fans in attendance will receive a 2010 Yankees magnetic schedule, courtesy of AT&T. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. The new pitcher for the Yankees following Mo, Royce Ring, a lefty with what kind of chance, in your opinion, to crack that bullpen?
Well, he's opened up some eyes. I mean, there are limited opportunities in that pen, but he's really impressed. You can see the way he drops down with his arm angle. It's going to be a tough at bat for a left-handed hitter. In this case here, Cleet Thomas.
You see the scoreboard for the Yankees. It's been a good afternoon. Leading at 5-2, they scored 4 runs off Tiger starter Rick Porcello. CC Sabathia looked really good. And let me just get your thoughts on Mo last inning, 10 pitches.
Well, it's what we become accustomed to with Mariano Rivera, you know, and I think at this point, as you see the numbers for Ring last year, AAA Memphis, you know, you just want to see if he's got that action on the cutter, which it looked like he had today, jammed a few bats.
Ring drops down a little bit, gets Cleet Thomas to strike out. Well, you mentioned this too. He wasn't even throwing top speed. We don't expect to see it. Now, let's be honest about that at this point, but the fact that he still has the great command, the great stuff, he's throwing, what, 87, 88?
Yeah, 87, 88 miles an hour, and, you know, you can argue, oh, they're minor league hitters. You know, it doesn't matter. You're up there, you got a guy with his bat in his hand, and you could just tell, as Joe Girardi told us earlier, the hitters will let you know what kind of stuff you have. Well, from Mariano Rivera's inning, obviously he had pretty good stuff today.
Now, number 32, Will Rhymes against Ring. Now, he's got that big helmet that Cervelli has, but he's got the dual ear flaps.
You wonder if that's a minor league helmet. A lot of times in the minor leagues, you don't have the one flap, you have the 2 ear flaps. Possibility he's a switch hitter as well and likes both flaps. If he was a switch hitter, he wouldn't be hitting left on a lefty, though, so I'll correct that.
Once again, the great Gazoo. Were you a big Flintstones fan?
Not really, no.
No? Were you a cartoon guy? I don't sense you were like a cartoon guy.
I was not.
Fans should know I tried to sell you as your kids have on SpongeBob SquarePants, and that conversation ended very quickly.
When that show comes on in my house, it gets turned off immediately. My kids know it's not my favorite.
And I've told you this before, you're missing the boat.
You keep missing this. You go sailing on by.
Just a little tough to grasp the concept of a sponge living under the sea. Top of the 8th, Royce Ring is in. 3-2 count here on Will Rhymes.
Talked about Royce Ring and how he's opened up some eyes this camp. Make a lot of money in this game, make some big league ball clubs by having a little different arm angle, being a left-hander.
It's a good little pitch for him. He drops down a little bit. He didn't get that one across. He was able to get a strikeout on Clete Thomas, but instead Will Rhymes is aboard with a walk.
You know, I never understood why left-handers don't do this more often. Just drop down a little bit, you know, just a little different look. Randy Choate, who's going to be with the Rays out of their bullpen. I always wanted C.J. Nikowski, was a lefty with the Yankees. He would never drop down. Gives you a little deception. Doesn't get the call. Effective pitch.
And a strike to Raleigh Bishop. All right, let's get down once again to Kim Jones, standing by with Mariano Rivera. Kim?
Thank you, Bob. A 10-pitch outing today, your second of the spring. Mariano, how'd you feel?
I feel great. You know, I mean, going there to work a little bit, and pitches were moving, so take advantage of that.
27 pitches in your first outing. Was this progress today?
Yeah, you don't want to fall short, though. You don't want to throw just 10 pitches. You know, you want to do a little bit more work, but, you know, it happened. So, I mean, hopefully next time you do the same thing.
We know your deal in the spring. I mean, you're kind of on your own schedule. Did you think about throwing a few more?
Not really, not really. You know, I have to pitch Sunday again, so I saving the bullets.
Saving the bullets? We like to hear that. How many, about 5 more this spring? 5 more outings?
Something like that. 5, 6 more. Ready for the season.
Whatever you think you need, right?
Whatever I think I need.
Mariano, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
And we'll be back with more Yankees baseball right here on Yes.
Why design a vehicle with 88 vibration control measures? Why engineer 20 available systems that sense and respond to your needs before you're even aware of them? Because the average driver spends over 40,000 hours of their lifetime driving. The 2010 Lexus ES, uniquely designed to make every hour feel just as remarkable as the first. Lease the 2010 ES 350 for $479 a month for 36 months with $1179 due at signing.
As long as we're winding up our doing dials, let's wind them with precision. Open our throttle to even more selection and turn that savings swagger up full tilt. So when the time comes to bust open a can of doing, we've got all the tools for all the things we need to make them happen. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get Scott's Naturescapes mulch for the new lower price of just $3.88.
It's the first time you're letting your daughter shop on her own. So here's your moment of truth, Mom. Which 3G network would you trust to run apps like Family Locator when it matters most? When you want your 3G network to work, you want Verizon. Upgrade your family now and get an LG Envy Touch. Or get this Samsung Alias for just $29.99. Plus add a line for just $9.99. Families can connect for less at Verizon.
On to the bottom of the 8th here at Steinbrenner Field with the Yankees leading the Tigers 5-2. Another new pitcher for the Tigers out of the pen, Lester Oliveros. And he's facing the number 9 hitter, Greg Golson. Golson getting his 4th at bat, got aboard on an error, struck out, got a single his last time up. Looks at a strike.
'61 strikeouts in 56 innings.
Golson swings at a fastball, fouls it away, so 1-2. Golson to the right side. And foul. The crowd's thinned out a little bit with the Yankees leading 5-2. The announced crowd earlier, 10,835, another sellout here at Steinbrenner Field. You see Alex Rodriguez, his day of work is done. Joe Girardi's got a long day of work. Not only this ball game, but they've got the split squad against the Rays, so he's going to be hitting the road right after this game. As the high chopper to throw. We saw Golson, the good speed earlier, and it forced a quick throw by Ramon Santiago, and Golson is aboard. Let's get back down to Kim with Alex Rodriguez. Kim?
Hey, thanks, Bob. Alex, over the scoreboard, is that a career first?
Well, I don't know. It only counts one run, and it is spring training, so it was fun. It's always fun to hit a ball like that anytime.
I think we're going to take a look at it. Take us through this.
Well, it was just 2-0 fastball. He threw me a slider. Got a 2-0 count and was looking for a good pitch to hit and hit it well. Felt good.
Did you watch the flight?
No, I kind of lost it, but I knew I hit it a long ways. It felt good.
Porcello's a good pitcher. We all know that. I think you might have left that one up a little bit. But does that tell you anything about where you are mechanically right now, March 19th?
Well, I mean, one thing that Kevin Long and I have worked hard over the last 2 years is really hitting the fastball, and especially balls that are, north of 93, 94 miles an hour. And, he talks about always being short and quick, and I thought today we were.
What is it about Kevin? I know we've talked about him before, but whether it's Swisher, whether it's working with Granderson now, yourself, obviously Rob, everyone has worked with him and raves about him. Why is he so effective with you guys?
Well, number one, he's a great person. He's someone we trust. And, he's kind of our secret weapon. We really feel that with Kevin Long, there's, no slump that you can't overcome, and we feel like we can do miracles, and I think I speak for my teammates too.
CeCe gets into the 6th inning today. Mariano needs all of 10 pitches to get out of his inning. You like what you see from this team right now in mid-March?
Well, I do. I mean, we can smell spring training right around the corner, and CeCe had a great outing. Him and Cervelli had a nice rhythm going today, and always good to see Mo out there, and I think the team is anxious to get the season started.
We thank you for that highlight. I think we're going to see that home run a lot, Alex.
I hope so. Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Thanks, Kim.
Bob, let's go back up to you guys.
All right, Kim, thanks. It was fun to watch before it flew over the scoreboard and we lost sight of it. Well, this is a guy who got a big hit in his first at-bat. John Weber doubled in the 7th. Replaced Nick Johnson as the DH, and he later scored the game's 5th run. Yankees are in business again against Lester Oliveros. 2 men aboard with nobody out.
Well, Oliveros has a good arm, and he's given up back-to-back base hits, and both balls have not been hit well. Big John Weber and a good hitters count 1-0. Watch Weber standing in there at the plate. It doesn't look like he's got any thoughts going on in his mind about mechanics at all. It was always what I strive to get through, and I can never get to this point where he just stands up there nice and relaxed, see the ball and hit it. I always used to be thinking about mechanics. Where are my hands? Where are my feet? Weight back on my back leg. Watch John Weber just get set up. It looks like a guy who's going to put a good swing on it.
And on 3-0, takes a fastball. I've worked a couple games that he's been in. He's always hit the ball well. We talked about that his first at bat. I'm trying to think of a little hook for Weber. Maybe if he hits it hard, Weber grills it. How do you feel about that? I know you're a gas grill kind of guy, but
pretty good one.
That's what I spend my time doing.
It's amazing how it just comes to you.
Yeah. I actually smell them cooking hot dogs outside, so smells like it's they're cooking them on a Weber. And fouled away. It's interesting because you brought this up earlier. Alex talked about kind of seeing the finish line, the light at the end of the tunnel. When did you start to get that itch to head into the regular season, get back home, or wherever you were starting the season?
Yeah, you know, I talked about the dog days a little while ago. Weber fouls one off, but I'm surprised Alex said that he's looking forward to the opening day already, because it's still, you know, it's a ways away. But these are the tough days, the middle of spring training. You just crave to get to that last week, and you're hoping that you're feeling good about your game, so you look forward to opening day. The worst feeling is going to opening day and knowing that you're struggling at the plate or struggling out on the mound.
Oh, Weber into left field, and Robbie Thompson giving the windmill sign, so the throw coming home, but Golson's in there, and the Yankees back on the board. They had a run here in the bottom half of the 8th. It's 6-2. Another nice piece of hitting by John Weber.
Yeah, continuing his hot spring training. Fastball, and he just kind of blocks it off the other way. Good approach. Again, we'll take a look at the stance and the swing. Does not try to pull it. Kind of goes the other way. Alex Rodriguez was just talking about being able to be short and quick to the ball. John Weber, nice short, quick swing there.
Well, this is David Winfrey, grounded to short his last time up. Just in case you're wondering or you're keeping a scorebook, this would be the 3rd spot in the Yankees lineup. Winfrey replaced Mark Teixeira, at least in terms of the lineup. And a fastball 90 miles an hour, and Winfrey quickly 0-2. Well, there's the big fella. Nice work by him today. 5 1/3 innings of 1 run, 4 hit baseball. He struck out at. He signed in some autographs, and he could be signing those with a K at the end because he had 8 of those today. That's right outside the Yankees clubhouse. And Winfrey down on strikes.
Well, you talked about this point in spring training, Bob. I'm sure CC Sabathia very happy with his outing today. He kind of built on what he found his last outing. And you would think Dave Island told us today, one more outing where he really gets stretched out, and then he's going to have a shorter one after that to follow it up, and then he looks forward to opening night in Boston. He's pretty much right where he wants to be at this point.
I just noticed he writes right-handed. Did you know that?
See, this is amazing. You pick up on these things. It just comes to you.
And Mike Rivera fouls one away. I notice that stuff because I'm left-handed. I do everything left-handed, except I golf right-handed, if you want to call that golf.
And you golf wonderfully right-handed. Get a little golf tomorrow morning, you and I.
That's right. We're going to try and do Yes proud. What are you thinking you'll shoot tomorrow? Probably 72?
You know what? After our first round in spring training, I'm not even thinking about a number. Just want to find a swing tomorrow.
You're talking about survival mode?
Find a way to get it done.
I've seen some things in your game last week. You were coming around. Much like spring training. Kind of working out the bugs, settling into a swing groove. And Mike Rivera, not much of a groove there, but it was a swing, and another strikeout for Lester Oliveros.
Talked about opening night, Boston Red Sox against the Yankees. I mean, it's going to be another fun year in the American League East. We saw the Rays last night. Look like they have all the pieces in place. They're looking for a few players to have some bounce back years. Soriano is going to be their closer, so they're looking pretty good in the bullpen.
You know, that's the thing. The Rays are always an exciting team. They have a lot of speed. They were down last year, but they look like they might be back, especially if their pitching is good. But the Red Sox, to me, are going to be interesting because they have that different dynamic now. Maybe less offense, but better defensively. What does that mean in terms of, you know, them getting wins? We don't know yet.
No, and I think they're a team, you know, Theo Epstein, their general manager, if he looks at their lineup, you know, you get to June and he says, you know what, this isn't going to get it done, he'll go out there and make a big move. He's not afraid to do it. But I almost think that the Rays have kind of jumped over the Red Sox and that they're a more complete team. Pitching, offense, power, good speed.
Well, Oliveros gave up a couple singles and then struck out the side. So we head to the top half of the ninth inning as the Yankees look to wrap this thing up. They're leading at 6-2.
The 2009 New York Yankees are world champions.
Make plans for the 2010 season and host your group in a Yankee Stadium suite. Suites are perfect for entertaining family, friends, and business associates. Sizes range from 12 to 74 guests, and all suites feature all-inclusive food and non-alcoholic beverage packages. For more information, call 646-977-8900 or visit yankees.com/suites.
Leadership isn't given, it's earned. Now Ford quality is unsurpassed by Honda and Toyota. And more people are realizing why Ford Edge is raising the bar. Now, during our leadership sales drive, you can get 0% financing plus $2,000 cash back. That's both 0% and $2,000 cash. Plus, drive past gas stations faster with 265 horsepower and 25 miles per gallon. Or you can lease for only $259 a month. Ford Edge, unbelievable quality, incredible deal at your Tri-State Ford dealer.
It's time for...
Welcome back. These television providers claim to offer great value. Judges, who will you believe?
We're the biggest value in entertainment.
We offer the same TV as DirecTV for less.
Does the same include channels like AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, FX?
Not in our basic package like yours.
Judges?
In your face. In your face.
Now that you've got the truth, get DirecTV. Stay tuned. The Sunday Daily News is celebrating modern Yankee heroes with great commemorative magazines. Each Sunday, get a big, full-color magazine of a Yankee hero, packed with extraordinary action shots, career highlights and stats, plus a player poster. This Sunday, get Dandy Andy Pettit, yours free only in the Sunday Daily News.
Today's Game on Yes is brought to you in part by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. By Lexus and your local Lexus dealer. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Let's get right back downstairs. Kim Jones standing by with CC Sabathia. Kim?
Thank you, Bob. CC, by far your best outing of the spring?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, off-speed pitches are coming together. Fastball command was a lot better, so I'm excited.
We're using this monitor today, and we showed Alex's home run. We want to show you some of your strikeouts. 8 of them today. What can you tell us?
Just was trying to get ahead and you know, try to put guys away. Off-speed pitches were a lot better tonight. You know, that's just a change up. You know, trying to keep Cabrera off balance. That's a change up, 3-2 change up right there. So that was a pretty good pitch. I don't know if that was a strike right there, but
you'll take it.
I'll take it. But the cutter was a lot better and change up was a lot better. So I'm excited.
For all the spring trainings you've been through to know that you're at this point on March 19th, what does that tell you?
I feel pretty good. You know, like I said, the command is the biggest thing. Fastball command, my deliveries is a whole lot better than it was early. So I can stop worrying about that and just worry about the command of my pitches and get ready for Boston.
Alex is happy with himself today. So is Mariano. So are you. That's very good signs. But before we let you go, I do want to ask you, you were signing autographs right-handed. I'm not sure I'd picked that up from you before. And you're a lefty, we know, so what's that about?
I do pretty much everything right-handed. You know, when I was young, my dad taught me how to throw left-handed and kind of worked out for me, but everything else I do off the field is right-handed.
Dad knew what he was doing.
He did.
And Jabba signs lefty, but is a righty, so we got everything going on here.
A little crazy in there.
CC, we really appreciate it. Thanks so much. See you in Boston in a couple, well, we'll see you the rest of spring, and then I'll check in with you in Boston.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you, CC. Bob, back to you and John.
All right, Kim, thank you. Thanks to CC as well. Ryan Pope is the pitcher for the Yankees now. He's got a couple quick outs. You got Corey Casto to strike out. Max St. Pierre just grounded out to short. So the Yanks 1 out away from putting the wrap on this ball game here in Tampa and notching a 6-2 win. This is number 79, Avisail Garcia. And a chopper over the mound onto second. Nunez with the play, and there's your ball game. The Yankees with a 6-2 win over the Detroit Tigers this afternoon. Good pitching all around, especially from the man we just talked to, CC Sabathia. 5 1/3 innings for him, just a run and 4 hits allowed. He struck out 8 along the way. We'll be back in just a moment to put the wrap on this afternoon's ball game. Stay with us here on Yes.
Thanks to Buick's quiet tuning process and the efficiency of our standard V6 engine, this moment of solitude can be brought to you for up to 460 uninterrupted highway miles, courtesy of the all-new Buick LaCrosse. It's the new class of world class.
Now lease a 2010 Buick LaCrosse CX for just $359 per month. See dealer for details. See your local Buick dealer.
Forget about retirement. I'm going to play baseball.
Michael, that's the Easton Synergy IMX. Its reduction of mass in the barrel makes it lighter for faster exit speed, and it's got a bigger sweet spot, so anyone can hit like a pro.
For a limited time, get up to $100 in cash cards, good for anything in the store when you spend $100 or more. Only at Sports Authority.
I feel completely comfortable buying a Toyota.
These cars that we've had have been exceptionally safe.
Your loyalty has helped make us the #1 car brand in America. So we're offering you our biggest thank you ever. Right now, you can lease a sporty new 2010 Corolla for just $149 a month. Or get 0% financing for 60 months.
Thank you for standing by us.
Well, this is the approximate area that Alex Rodriguez's third inning home run landed. May see a little scorched earth out there. That's where the ball skidded and then bounced. It was a Titanic shot over the Pepsi sign in left center field here at George M. Steinbrenner Field on an afternoon in which the Yankees won the ball game over the Tigers 6-2. Now let's take a look at our Geico play of the game. Geico 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, Bob, you just mentioned at the bottom of the third inning, a 2-0 fastball to Alex Rodriguez. He crushes it over the scoreboard to left center field. That is your Geico play of the game.
Well, again, a nice afternoon for the Yankees. 10 hits overall as they score 6 runs. They limit the Tigers to 2 runs on 5 hits. CC Sabathia, a big part of that as he limited them to just 1 run on 4 hits. He struck out 8. The game lasting 2 hours, 50 minutes. And again, Alex Rodriguez, that huge home run to left center field. A special thanks to Bill Boland, John Moore, Woody Fryman, and John Filippelli. Join us again Sunday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the same Detroit Tigers here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock. Once again, our final score, Yankees 6, Tigers 2. For John Flaherty and our entire Yes Network team, I'm Bob Lorenz. Thank you, as always, for being with us. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.